What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. We are glad to have you here. I see a big group of folks. I see 250 right now, and numbers steadily increasing. Ready for some Sunday education, guys. My name is Luke on the Benzinga team. I don't worry, I'm not the educator. I am the host, though. So I am your voice in the chat, guys. So as you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'll be making sure that we get them over to Mark, and we'll be bringing Mark on in just a second here. Um, but I want to open with a couple questions. Uh, First things first, where is everybody from? Okay, I always like to get the sense of where everybody's at. I'm hanging out at a coffee shop today. This is my Sunday setup. But what I do every Sunday into the trading week, and I've been trading for about 8 years now over here at Benzinga, is I always need to do a Sunday setup. I build my watch list, I build the stocks that I'm looking at, etc. So this is like my little sanctuary as to where I get set up. So I want to hear from everybody where you're at. I see some Jersey, Netherlands, Connecticut, CT, Portland, Brooklyn, Miami. All right, we're getting some pretty diverse crowd here. And then the second question that I want to ask everybody is, what is your level of experience? Because again, guys, we're spending this hour together on a Sunday. It's a nice sunny Detroit Sunday, but this hour is important because we need to get ready. We need to be educated. We need to have stocks to look at in the week. We need to have strategies to look at in the week, and really get ourselves going. So please drop in your education level, and then depending on where that falls, we'll sort of tailor our session around that. And this isn't about Lambos. It's not about boats. It's not about, hey, we're gonna make these trades that are gonna make us millionaires this week. I mean, this is about really being strategic. It's about being methodical. It's about being tactical. So if anybody is looking for that, hey, here's one trade to make you $1 million in the week, we're not doing that today. Sorry, but we are going to be going over, hey, here's how we're looking at the week. Here are stocks to look at. Here are setups to look at. Here are strategies to look at. Here's how we get more into that rinse and repeat. And then the last thing that I'll say before we really get rolling or we really hit the ground running is that we want this to be interactive. You guys have symbols. You have questions. Put them in the chat. The reason why I'm here is not just because I have my notepad and I'm doing my Sunday setup, but the reason why I'm here is to be the voice of the chat, the voice of the people. So as you have questions, drop them in the chat, and I will be making sure that we get to them. Without further ado, let me go ahead and bring our real expert onto the stream, Mark. Mark, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Doing well.
Okay.
I'm ready for this setup. I'm ready for a big week ahead. And I love that we have, over 300 people here on a summer Sunday afternoon because they want to become better traders too.
Well, cool. Glad to help out here.
Awesome. And Mark, but before we really get into it, and guys, we're going to get to a market overview and start building our watch list in just a second here. But before we really get into it, can you just give us a little bit of your background and a little bit of your trading experience?
Yeah. Well, this is the part I don't like is self-promotion, but I've learned that it's required in this business. But anyway, I was an institutional trader for about 20 years. I started in the late 90s. I was at graduate school at New York University, and I met Mario Gabelli, who is, one of the greatest money managers of all time. And I guess something about me he liked, and he hired me. So I spent about 2 years trading there as a market maker, did a lot of pink sheet stocks and penny stocks. Then from there, I decided to jump over to the buy side. Mario's a money manager, but he also owns a broker dealer, which is sell side. So just not to get you confused, the sell side is the side that gets paid a commission to do a trade. Like a broker dealer is a sell side firm. Your TD Ameritrade account is a sell side firm. The buy side are the people that have to pay money to have a trade executed. These include your money managers, your hedge funds. So anyway, at the time, a lot of traders were jumping over to the buy side because it was more, the compensation was better, frankly. So I went over to SAC, where I traded directly for Steve Cohen. And when I say I traded directly for him, I mean, I actually spoke to him every day. I was one of his traders. Um, so I was there for a while. Then I had a chance to be the head trader of a big fund down in the city, New York City. I'm in Connecticut. Um, that, where I oversaw a team of 9 or 10 traders, and we were primarily equities, but we did futures and we did currencies. Then I had a couple more stints at a couple other hedge funds. And then about 5 years ago, I decided just to get out of the business because it was too stressful. And just to make it perfectly clear or perfectly honest, one day, I was up at Walmart, and they have those like machines where you can sit down and take your blood pressure. And I just sat in it and I got my reading, and I didn't know really anything about it. So I went back to my office and I looked it up, and it's like, dude, you're gonna die any minute, man.
Okay.
My blood pressure was through the roof. So I went to the doctor. Put me on blood pressure medication. Make a long story short, talked with my wife and family, and I didn't need the stress anymore. So I decided to get over into the publishing world, and I kind of have this passion now. And I know that's an overused term these days, but I really want to teach people. I want to bring my experience to the table and teach people like what really goes on Wall Street, because frankly, most of the classes that I've seen out there are not that impressive. It's really someone who's read a book or two and traded their own account, and they think that they're, really good because the market's been going up for the last 10 years and they've made money.
And here's what I hate about that too. I've got a little bit of a different like bone to pick on those, which is you get these people who, yeah, they have like 1 or 2 years of experience. They did fairly well for those 1 or 2 years. But now all of a sudden they're the masters and they're the gurus. And if you don't follow them, you're foolish for not following them. Um, and that's just one of those things is if we think about our job at Benzinga, I mean, it's to provide actionable information and try to level the playing field for individual investors. And we see that sort of thing happening that just goes against our ethos as a business. It drives me bonkers. And that's what I love so much about your background, Mark, is that, I mean, you did it in a major way with numbers that none of us can really even fathom, I bet, for a lot of years and with a lot of big players. And guys, if you don't know who Steve Cohen is, go do some research. You owe it to yourself to read that Wikipedia page. The man has a shark in his home. Okay, that's all that I'll say.
He's also got a couple Van Goghs, a couple Picassos, so he's doing all right. And now he owns the Mets.
And now he owns the Mets, exactly.
Yeah.
So
all right, yeah, there's
Mark.
a lot of mystery as to what goes on Wall Street. And when I watch like CNBC, although, I haven't in a while, but it's just so full of misinformation about why the market's moving and what's going on and so forth and so on. So, I kind of want to point out to my students what is really going on in the market. And we're going to be looking at the market every day, or at least every day that's important. And we're going to dispel a lot of the myths around trading and Wall Street in general. And so anyway, so that's kind of it for me. Let's see, I like to play golf. It's probably my second thing I like to do after the markets. But just to get into the markets now.
Yep, and just not sorry, Mark. I'm like definitely the slow down guy today. Okay, so I'm going to be interrupting you a lot. I hope I don't drive you crazy.
Oh no, that's cool.
But I just want to remind you guys that the whole point of this session is to be interactive. So if you have questions, you have symbols, drop them in the chat. That's my job, is to be the interruption guy and make sure those questions get out there. And again, we're doing our week planning right now. I always do my week planning at a coffee shop. I could have gone into some fancy studio and done it, but I'm like, all right, let's do it how we actually set it up. So here I am, where I sit every single week to do my planning. And Mark, I think you were just about to take us through how you're looking at the market right now.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then I want to show you some of my screens or trading models that I use to analyze stocks.
Awesome.
So I can.
Do you want me to share your screen right now?
Yeah, why don't you? We'll get started.
Alrighty. We have it up. Looks like
All
we're looking
right.
at SPY right now, ticker SPY.
Yep. But before we do that, I just want to say there's, a lot of negativity out there, and there's a lot of things maybe to be negative about with the talk of commodities and inflation and so forth and so on. But to bring up two famous Wall Street sayings that have been around for at least as long as I've been around is one, the market climbs a wall of worry, which is precisely what's going on. And two, the trend is your friend. So if we just look at this chart here of the SPY, which is tracks the S&P 500. So this is a very broad measurement of the 500 biggest companies that are in the S&P 500. There's really nothing here to be worried about. It's not oversold. Overbought. It's trending nice, and it's got a nice uptrend. So what do? You stay invested until there's a reason not to. One thing, speaking of the media, one thing I didn't see anyone report on Friday was this, which is, let me just get rid of this, is Microsoft. Okay. Microsoft had a major breakout on Friday. Let me just find that. See, this level here is 290. All right. So for about 3 weeks, this 290 level was resistance for Microsoft. Okay. Resistance means that there was a large concentration of sellers at the 290 level. In fact, there was more supply than there was demand. Buyers could buy all they wanted to. There was no fear of driving the price up. There's more supply than demand. This is why rallies end when they reach resistance levels. So after about 2 or 3 weeks, we can see we've made a potential breakout here. What this tells us, and all charts should always be looked at in terms of what are they showing about the supply and demand of that's going on in a market. That's what technical analysis should be if it's done correctly, supply and demand. So what this move up tells us is that the sellers that created this resistance are gone. They've either finished their order, so they canceled their orders. Either way, they are out of the market. So with this large amount of supply taken out of the market, buyers have no choice but to pay higher prices. And that is the definition of what a rally is. So this was some really bullish action in Microsoft. Of course, we got to give it a few days to see if it holds. But big stock, obviously, big move. Let's also take a look at Apple, because this is at a crucial point, and this could be about to break out. We
Yeah,
can see
and
here.
Mark, so I'm taking notes as you're going, and so I'm doing my watch list building. I'm doing my week planning. So Microsoft is one that's at least interesting in this upcoming week because we saw the breakout over that resistance line. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And you're going to Apple. That was one that I wrote down on my list from the chat, as I saw a ton of folks ask about Apple.
Well, we can see Apple has hit clear resistance at the 149 level. But unlike Microsoft, Apple has not broken out. There's still that wall of sellers there. All right. But, it's a lot of times Microsoft and Apple kind of follow each other at different times. So there's a good chance that we see a breakout in Apple this week, clear this 149 level. And, with Microsoft and Apple, which are probably literally the two biggest companies, if they each break out, you don't need to be a market guru to know that that's going to be bullish for, for other parts of the market. Now, I just want to get into a little bit about how I look at the market. And when we start my class, this is something we're going to be looking at a lot. And, it doesn't matter what style you are. You could be a day trader. You could be a swing trader. What this type of analysis really can help with any investment style. If you're a buy and hold long term, we can identify good places to get in, or if you want to sell, to get out. So the thing about this technical analysis, if it's done correctly, and we're just studying the supply and demand dynamics occurring in the market, it is applicable to any market that there is supply and demand. It could even be applicable to the real estate market. Um, so by understanding these dynamics of supply and demand, you can make a profit. Now, I have an analogy to put it in. I guess it's an analogy, but all right, pretend it's like the Middle Ages and there's like a market where all the farmers come from all around to sell their goods, all right? And there's only one road into this town. And some trader goes out into the woods and spies on all the supply trains coming in and sees, oh, gee, there's no sugar coming in, or there's way less sugar than there usually is. That means the price is probably going to go up. So that trader runs back to town, buys whatever sugar there is, and then waits for the price to go up and then sells it. So that's kind of analogous to what we're doing here. You don't really need to be a master of understanding sugar and how it grows and where it comes from and this, that, and the other thing. You just have to understand that there's going to be a temporary shortage, and that's going to drive up the price. And there's a profit opportunity there for the shrewd trader that went out and spied on the caravans coming into the market. So now, just to kind of go over the market before we open it up for questions, I think this is something important for people to understand. The market is the sum of its parts, okay? And in the S&P 500, there are 11 different sectors. And we're going to go take a quick look at each of them. And they all look pretty healthy. Financials and consumer staples may be a little bit overbought, but this is the tech sector. This is the tech spider, which follows the S&P tech sector. And this is probably about 30% of the market, the weighting of the index. So we can see, just kind of moving along, churning higher, nothing really too dramatic sticking out, which is good. Second biggest sector is healthcare, which no one ever really talks about these days, at least in terms of the stock market. It's been consolidating, but, still kind of in the uptrend. Momentum's neutral, really nothing to worry about there. Next is the communication services sector. Again, nothing really stands out. Just, like if I was long this, there's no need to change anything. It's not overbought. It's not oversold. So neutral momentum with a slight move higher is bullish. I'll bring up the financials because these guys are a little bit overbought. And that's because the perception is with interest rates going up, financial companies will make more money. So as we can see, we got a little bit overbought. We'll talk about this. These blue bands here, okay, these are called Bollinger Bands. And this is one of my favorite things to use. And it's really amazingly simple in concept, but at the same time, it's very complicated. These bands are 2 standard deviations above and below the 20-day moving average. Now, nowadays, the vast majority of trading in the stock market is driven by computerized algorithms, high frequency traders. I mean, that's most of the volume. These programs are generally based on probability theory, and probability theory says that 95% of all trading should be within 2 standard deviations of the mean. So when something exceeds the threshold, that gets the attention of these computerized programs. And I'm going to show you more about that when I talk about screening stocks, and we can screen some of your stocks too. But as you can see, when the XLF got below it, it was a good time to buy. Here, it's a good time to buy. Because these computerized programs, they're expecting a reversion to the average. Pretty much all trading models are based on either breakouts or reversion. So that's what I mean up here. We're a little bit overbought, but nothing too dramatic. It might give back a little bit. But like I said, no need for any alarm there. Like what would give me pause for alarm is if the market was super overbought and had gapped up, um, then that kind of gives you pause for caution. Now this is consumer staples. This is a little bit overbought now. Again, nothing too dramatic. Might see a little bit of consolidation. Consumer staples are the stuff people need: medicine, food. So the perception is that if the economy worsens or if the stock market goes down, these stocks will perform better than the rest of the market. So in general, consumer staples tend to perform better towards the end of bull markets. And maybe this is what we're seeing here, but I don't mean the end like tomorrow. I mean maybe we're in the seventh or eighth inning. But again, because the money comes out of the stuff that's perceived as more risky and into this, which is perceived as safer. But again, it's a little bit overbought, but nothing really too concerning. Industrials, and we can see, just kind of working its way up there, chugging away. The energy sector got beat down pretty good, but it's been holding and it's coming back a little bit. So anyway, so that's the market. Remember the market climbs the wall of worry, and the trend is your friend. So until something changes, just stay long if you're long. An interesting thing that caught my eye was Johnson and Johnson, because this is a stock that has broken out, and this is the biggest part of the consumer staples sector. So this is why that consumer staples spider is overbought. Let me get rid of that because that was open. But we can see the stock hit resistance here back in January. And this is kind of a good example of how markets have memories. And let me just take a little bit of a side to talk about my class. All right. Wall Street tries to make stuff sound more complicated than it really is so they can charge money for advice that's not good. If you focus on which levels are important, which trends are important, what the momentum is, that's enough that you can make good investment decisions. Now, right here, okay, this 170 level is clearly important for Johnson & Johnson. It was resistance here, and it shows you this is what they mean by markets have memory. It was resistance here, all right? So January and May. Now, this might seem kind of simple, but there is no academic in the world that can explain this. This disproves efficient market hypothesis, because if efficient market hypothesis was real, there would be no such thing as support levels, because all prices are random. The other thing you can see is stocks go down faster than they go up. That's because selling is motivated by fear, and fear is a more powerful emotion than hope, which is what motivates buying. So those are 2 points there. If you have any academic friends that want to tell you that the market is efficient and that people can't make money trading it, I'll tell you that they're wrong. And I'm sure Steve
And
Cohen
you've definitely been around the block enough to know that that's true.
Yeah.
And Mark, do you mind if we grab a couple symbols out of the chat?
Yeah, sure. That's what I'm here for.
All right. So I have to be the bad guy who has to pick all the tickers. We saw a ton of them. So I'm going on popularity. I'm going to start with a fan favorite. It's NIO, ticker NIO, November, India, Oscar.
And just before we go into this, I will say a lot of times I don't really see things. So I'm never going to try to come up with something. If I don't see anything, I will tell you, I don't see anything.
And that's what I love about your style of education in your class, is that it's not like this Lamborghinis and we're all going to make $2 million a week. It's here's what it is. This is the reality of the situation. We may not like it, but there's no action one way or another.
Yeah. And a lot of what you see when you see these advertisements, it's, a lot of it is misleading. Some of it is bold-faced lying. Like someone could have a strategy and say, oh, I doubled my money last month. Okay. We were up 100% last month. Now think about this. For every stock, there is a bid and an offer. The bid is the highest price anyone is willing to currently pay you for your stock. The offer is the lowest price anyone is currently willing to sell it at. Say a penny stock has a bid of 1 cent and an offer of 2 cents. If someone sells, the trade is at 1 cent. Then if someone buys, the trade is at 2 cents. The stock has doubled, but it hasn't moved. All right. So, think about that. Um, going from 1 cent to 2 cent is not the same as going from $10 to $20. All right. So let's go to this Neo over here. It's choppy. It is a little bit oversold. This 43 level, was important. Um, I would say keep an eye on the 41 level. So we could see a little bit of a bounce here. We're a little bit oversold, and we're at 41, which you can see was the bottom here and the bottom here. So, Neo looks okay.
All right, Neo's okay. Another one we've been getting a ton of questions about, Moderna.
What's that?
Our favorite vaccine maker. That's mRNA, correct? mRNA. Make sure. Yep, yeah, mRNA. So it's Mike Romeo November Alpha.
Okay, now this to me looks like a classic reversal, which means it's going to be going probably lower. So it's probably not a great time to buy it. But let me just kind of explain these candlesticks here, okay? These are what are known as candlesticks. Each one of these rectangles is a day of trading. If it's an up day, it's blue. If it's a down day, it's red, okay? The bottom and the top of the rectangles are where the stock opened and closed. So on a red day, they open at the top and close at the bottom. On a blue day, they open at the bottom and close on the top. Now, just kind of think about this. The trend is higher here. The bulls are in charge. The bulls are taking all the stock the sellers have to offer and then some. There's not enough supply for the demand. So it goes higher and higher and higher. Now, this day, which was August 9th, the stock opens here at around 412. The bulls are in control all day, driving it up over the course of the day, and it closes at 485 near the low of the day. Near the high of the day. The next day, the stock opens at a pretty close price, but now it trends lower over the course of the day. And then the next day it trended lower. So this, what traders call a reversal pattern, is a graphical illustration that the bears or the sellers may have taken control from the bulls. So again, when I look at that, that's the first thing that really kind of comes to me, is that this is a reversal pattern and could see some more downside. There might be some support down here around 360. This is where there was resistance. So yeah, so that's what sticks out to me on Moderna.
All right, so Neo wasn't much one way or another, and again, I like the honesty. Moderna, not interesting from the long side. All right, we've got a whole slew of tickers, so I'm going to drop the next one in a second here. That said, I keep getting questions about the trading school and Mark's education. So we'll talk more about that at the end, but I'll give the 1 minute overview. But basically, Mark runs college style courses for us. And what I mean by that is it's all live education, it's small class sizes, and it's constant communication. So basically, the idea is to take us from zero to hero. From hey, we've dabbled a little bit, but we've either gotten crushed or don't know exactly what we're doing. Mark has a very linear education program that takes us through. Here's exactly how the markets function. Here's how I've had success in the markets. And again, you get sort of the regular mentorship with that. There's daily web sessions, there's chat, you get to know your classmates, you get to share trade ideas between each other, etc. Because this is truly a college style course, it's not like we're starting up a new class every single week. We do have a new class that's going to be starting in September. So there's the deal with that, and we can talk more about the class in a second here. I mean, it comes with the laptops, that way you can follow along and run the same software that Mark's running. But again, we'll talk more about the class in a little bit here, because I want us to be able to get through everybody's tickers. Next one I'm gonna throw at you. How about NVIDIA? NVDA. November Victor Delta Alpha.
All right. Let's see here. Again, not really seeing much here. Momentum is kind of neutral. Still in a little bit of an uptrend. I would say there might be some resistance around the 207 level. Let me just put that line there. Because again, this is an example of where, markets have memories. So we can see 207 was resistance here. 207 was resistance here. Looks like it's going to make another run at 207. So, this is the type of situation where if you own this stock and you're bullish on it for the long run, you don't do anything. But if you're not bullish and you're thinking, oh, gee, I better sell this, if it gets up closer to this 207 level, that's probably would be a good place to, take some profits or do some selling. But again, the point is, and what I want to teach people so they can do this, on their own, is to identify these important levels. Now, we have seen that this is an important level for the stock, 207. So once we get back up there, we're going to have to see if it breaks out. It could be a nice move higher, like Microsoft made. If it spends a long time consolidating around this resistance level, there's a good chance it starts to trend lower. And that's kind of something to remember when something hits resistance. If it doesn't break through, kind of right away or after the longer it consolidates at the resistance, the greater the chances are that it might go down. So I would say for this stock, keep an eye on the 207 level. That's the important one here.
Yeah, and Jut in the chat is pointing out that there's earnings this week on Wednesday for this one. So of course, anything into earnings, there could be some volatility coming. And I see more people asking about Neo, guys. We just did Neo. First one we did. Always a fan favorite.
So on this
Yep.
NVIDIA, if the earnings are good, that might be enough to make it break out above this level here.
So I guess a broader question, Mark. How do you think about earnings? I mean, will you buy a stock into earnings if the chart is looking good? Will you sit on the sidelines to see where it falls after the earnings report? How exactly do you manage that?
I don't. Well, I have traded around earnings. There was a period where I did some really deep value investing, and you have to like really read what the company management says, and you have to listen to the conference calls, and then you could kind of get insight as to whether they're going to beat or not. Like a lot of times managements are overly confident, sometimes managements are overly conservative, but that's like for more of a like a deep analysis approach. What I say about earnings is you have to watch the action around them. Okay. If there's good earnings and the stock trades down or doesn't move, that's bad action. Okay. That's a concern. I mean, if there's good earnings, the stock should act well, meaning if they beat estimates and the earnings are growing, the stock should act well. Conversely, if the earnings are really bad and the stock rebounds, that's good news. So I look at the action and how stocks act around their earnings. If something has blowout earnings and beats all the estimates, but it goes down, then that's a sign to me that there's probably a new downtrend forming. If something has bad earnings and misses estimates and goes up, well, that's a sign to me that an uptrend could be starting. So the answer to the question is, for me, I watch the action around how the stock acts when the earnings are reported.
Okay, awesome. That's super insightful. Um, and then let's take one more high level question before we get back to tickers. And guys, the next ticker is going to be Palantir. I keep seeing it. Okay, so we'll get there in a sec. But just watch list building in general, right? Like you started off, you pointed out a couple stocks that are interesting to you, like Microsoft is one of them. How do you go about that broader process?
Well, stocks have inflection points that are important. And what I on my watch list, I will have stocks that are either at or close to important resistance or support, or overbought or oversold. This is going to give me actually a chance to show you guys one of my charts and one of the things that I've been looking at, because it's kind of cool, and you can make it on pretty much any trading software. This is TradingView that I'm using here, and you could do it on Benzinga Pro. All right, so I'm going to erase these top two lines just to make this a little bit easier to understand.
And while you're doing that, what are those top two lines, or even a broader question? Are there any indicators that you always have on your charts?
Bollinger Bands and RSI usually. Now, this is a stock that I'm looking at for a possible reversal. Okay. It's called TrueCar, TRUE. Now, I have two standard deviation bands on here. Okay. These are the Bollinger Bands we talked about. So the blue line is two standard deviations below the 20-day moving average. The red line is two standard deviations below the 20-week moving average. So these are both two standard deviations below averages. This is below the 20-day. This is below the 20-week. Now we can see when it got close to breaking both of them here, it was a good time to buy. So the stock has fallen off a cliff. Now it's exceeded both of these thresholds on the downside. So this tells me that eventually there's going to be some of these computerized algorithms targeting this stock. So this is something that is on my radar screen because of the fact that it's super overbought. Now, I won't buy it because it could keep still going down. Obviously, that's the term on Wall Street. You catch a falling knife. What you do is you wait for the rebound to start. Okay. You can put in a trend line here, and you could tell yourself, all right, this is how I would have a trade set up. If TrueCar crosses this downtrend line, that's a sign that the downtrend could be over. Because it's so oversold, we could see a rebound. So that would be a stock that's on my watch list right there.
Sorry, I'm muted. I like that point that you make about not trying to catch the falling knives. I blew up 3 accounts in my first 2 years of trading when I was 6 years without having a blow up. And one of them was I would try to buy every stock that was down 80%, 70%, thinking it can't go any lower. They absolutely can. I'll tell you guys from experience, it can be painful. It can be
If
painful.
you don't have a plan and you don't have a definable reason why you're entering a position, like if you can't explain to me why you want to buy a stock, you're just guessing. You're just going to guess. Someone saw it on TV, or in a situation like this, it's a guess, but it's an educated guess, right? Because I have a reason for this to be here. It's because it's so oversold. One of the things that I do when I look for trades is I look at stocks that are extremely oversold, and we can find that on the screener, which I can show you all how to do. But I look for stocks that are really oversold, and I look for stocks that have reached a level that could potentially be support. So let's look at this. I believe this is one I looked at. All right, so this is
Oh,
Amco.
that looks tough.
This is Amco Pittsburgh. Now I don't know what they do, but what strikes me is it's extremely oversold. It's also at a level that was resistance. Now, this is one of the most important things about financial markets. Levels that were resistance can turn into support levels. Okay. Remember what I said before about how certain levels are more important than others? Well, in theory, this is how this works. People sold here and they thought they made a good decision when it went down. But then when it broke through their sell price, they decide they made a mistake. So a lot of these remorseful sellers decide they want to buy the stock back, but they're only going to do so if they can get it for the same price they sold it at. So in their minds, mentally, they can erase their mistake. So at levels that were resistance tend to turn into support. So this being so oversold and being at a level that could potentially be support has this, would put this on my radar screen. And again, I just found a stock that was.
And Mark, can I ask you one follow-up question on that one?
Yeah, dude.
So you're making the point about how the previous resistance can become support. Would you want to wait on the upswing in this chart before you were to enter it, or is that previous level of resistance enough for you to take a crack at this one on the long side?
I would probably wait, and yeah, I would wait and try to catch it on the upswing, just like on the last example, because
Okay.
there's a chance that support doesn't form at that level, so
Yes.
so,
Yes. Oh, I know.
it's just the idea is just to have some logic and some parameters about
And can
why
we do
we're entering.
Palantir next after this one? Otherwise, the chat might crawl through their webcams and strangle me.
Okay. Like this one here, this Dawson is extremely oversold and it's reached the $2 level, which could be important psychologically. So that's something else I could potentially would be on my watch list. But let's want to take some more questions and see if we can find stuff to put on our watch list from some of our students.
Yeah, let's hit them. Let's hit. I've got probably 40 tickers written down on my notepad here. We're not going to get to them all. Sorry, guys. I'll promise you that right now. But can we look at PLTR?
All right, so this one just held important support at this 21.25 level. It looks a little overbought, but I would say, if you're long this, there's no reason I would think to sell it. But going forward, I would keep an eye on this 21.25 level, because if it breaks, you could get a big move lower. That's what happened here. It might not look that big on the chart, but this was a move of almost 20% or whatever. So I would, if I was long this stock, I would hold it as long as it stays above 21.25. If you're looking to sell, the last peak 27.25, there's probably going to be some resistance at this level. And we could see here how this was a little overbought when it got there. But yeah, I would say the key thing to watch on this stock is the support at 21.25. If that breaks, we could get another big move lower like here.
All right. What about this next one? I'm going to throw it at you. Ticker F, Ford, long and strong. I am in Detroit right now, guys. I'm doing my weekly planning. I do it every single week on Sunday at the same seat at the same coffee shop. But I'm long and strong Ford. Curious what you think of this one, Mark.
This is actually a stock I follow, and we can see here, excuse me. This is a perfect example of what I want to teach in my class. Certain levels are more important than others. Okay. For some reason, the 1340 level is important for this stock. I don't know why it's 1340 and not 1360 or 1380 or 1320. But back here, it was resistance, okay, in March. Then let's go back to the sellers. People sold it. It goes down. They decide they made a mistake. They say, well, here they think they did the right thing. But once it goes up through their level, they say, oh, man, I made a mistake. I'm going to buy the stock back. I'm going to put my buy order at the same price that I sold it at, 1340. So as we can see now, the 1340 level has converted from resistance to support. And it looks like it's going to take another, test it again. So that's what I would be watching here. If it holds 1340, could get another little pop. But, this is an important level. And if it breaks, we could see like another downtrend like
Okay. And if there's any other folks who are holding forward out there like I am, I own the underlying stock. A strategy that I've been utilizing for the past several months is I've been selling calls against it constantly. Every single week. It's not like I'm not getting a ton of money for these calls. I'm getting like 15 cents a share or something along those lines. But the fact that I've done it probably 20 weeks this year means that my cost basis on the underlying stock has gotten incredibly cheap. So potential strategy for you if you guys are fellow Ford shareholders. Let's do this one, Mark. This is a crypto one. I don't know where you're at with the crypto stocks. I own two that I like, Coinbase and on Voyager Digital. But this one I'm seeing some questions pop up about is VTVT.
ETVT?
Bravo Tango, Bravo Tango.
Oh, this one. Okay.
I bet it's going to be a wild chart. I don't know what it looks like. Yep, it's a wild chart. Okay, so yeah, when you see a chart like this, right? I mean, is the price what 4x over a handful of days, a couple weeks? I mean, what goes through your mind when you see something like this?
When usually moves like this are not sustainable unless there's some kind of really earth-shattering news. So I don't know what drove this. It looks like
I think it might have been that kickoff in the price of Bitcoin that we got. This is, I believe, a Bitcoin mining stock. And so I think that when we saw Bitcoin rebound from like the high 20s into the 40s, that's what got this one going again.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like, again, we have like this kind of reversal action. So I think this thing could probably see a little bit more downside.
Okay. All right. So there we go. We got that one cleared up. And I want to go back to RSI. I asked you a minute ago what indicators you use on your charts, or if there's anything that you always put on there. You said Bollinger Bands and RSI. We've got a couple people talking about RSI, like how you set it up, how exactly you use it. So if you could take us through that, I think that would be helpful.
Okay. The relative strength index momentum indicator is something I put on my standard charts. Excuse me. So this is something to remember. When you get these charts and these charting packages, they all have default settings, okay? And the default setting for RSI is 14. Basically, without getting into the really, complicated, it's not actually, it's not complicated, but momentum just measures where something is relative to where it was a certain time period ago. In the case of RSI, with the default, it's 14. So, but we can see this is a volatile stock, so we might want to make some changes. We could put that at a different period. This is this here 70 is the default. For if the RSI line is above this, it's considered to be overbought. But as we can see, a stock like this is more volatile, so we might need to make some changes. So we could go to the input, or let's see. All right, yeah, we can go here to the upper band, and let's make this up to 80. Just for hypothetical sake. So we can see 80 is actually a better number for this stock. So than the default of 70. So all of these indicators, or these oscillators, are all going to have the default settings when you use them. And you don't need to do any like kind of really sophisticated regression analysis or anything like that. I mean, trust me, it's been done by all the data scientists at the hedge funds, and they still can't figure it out. But you can just kind of eyeball, look at one of your stocks and say, what is good. Like, look at this, for instance, here, right? Say we use the default setting. Where the heck is it again? I don't know where it went. Well, anyway, say we use the default setting of 70 down here. Look how many times you would have been whipsawed, meaning you would have gotten a false signal. So the moral to the story is, RSI is a great indicator. It's really simple. I like to use it. I generally just use the default settings. That being said, every stock kind of has its own personality and its own trading about it. So you may want to spend some time, let's just bring up something popular like Microsoft. Yeah, so now here we see Microsoft, like this 80 number is probably too high. We'd probably want to, maybe go down to, this is the default here. All right. And you can see here, you would have gotten whipsawed a lot, because getting above this really doesn't give you that great signals. And then again, we can change the day or the length, right? See, like, look at that. See, so we can make it a more effective signal giver if we mess with the default parameters. So what's next?
And then let's do, while we're at it, let's do Bollinger Bands too. So you said you have two things you always put on your charts. RSI is one, Bollinger Bands is two, and then the support and resistance, you learn how to draw those. Can you just talk us through a little bit as to what Bollinger Bands show?
Well, the Bollinger Band is the standard default is the top line is going to be 2 standard deviations above the 20-day moving average, and the bottom line is going to be 2 standard deviations below the 20-day moving average. Now, as you can see, when something is trending higher or lower, it's not as effective as an indicator as if something is trading, say, sideways. So like this is Boeing here, right? Again, the top line is 2 standard deviations above the 20-day average. The bottom one's 2 below. Now, some traders use a system where when the stock gets outside of this threshold, that's their setup. And then when it gets back inside the band, that's when they make the trade. So people that follow that style would have sold Microsoft or shorted it here. Now it gets outside of the band, then it goes back in, and they would have closed it here. So just by using these simple signals off these Bollinger Bands, someone could have made a really nice trade here on Boeing. Same
and a
here.
Good question from April in the chat, who's definitely a member of Zinger Nation here with us. Do you ever adjust the Bollinger Band parameters, or do you use the default settings?
I do adjust them. because the more volatile a stock is, the wider they need to be to. Well, actually, that's not a good way of explaining it, because if the stock is more volatile, then just by definition, it's going to have wider bands. But I will say this: a lot of times, what I will do is set it up so the top Bollinger Band is 2 standard deviations, but I set it up so the bottom Bollinger Band is 2.5 or maybe even 3 standard deviations, because stocks tend to go down faster and sell-offs tend to be a lot more sloppy than buying. So on the downside, there's always the chance, or there's a better chance that on the downside something is going to exceed the threshold than on the upside. So I would consider adjusting the bottom Bollinger Band to like a bigger, a wider, a larger number, so it captures less of the trading to give you a better signal.
Awesome.
But right here, this is just the standard.
And another awesome question out of the chat is, you mentioned that you worked for a lot of hedge funds, including Steve Cohen, guys. Again, if you have not read that man's Wikipedia page, you owe it to yourself to give it a read. It is very interesting. But can you talk a little bit about what it was like trading there? What sort of tools did you leverage when trading there? How did you interpret charts when you were trading at a hedge fund? Is it different than what you're doing now when you're trading on your own? I think any of that would be interesting.
Well, the first thing you have to understand is that when you're trading at a hedge fund, you're trading. For some reason, people think that hedge funds like only invest in 1 or 2 stocks, but that's just not true. I mean, I could have had orders for 50 different stocks on any given day, and you're trading really big size. Typical order would be 1 million or 2 million shares. So that's kind of where over the years, I've gotten this competence of understanding where the important levels are, because when you want to sell 1 million shares of a stock, you can't just put it out there in the market. You got to know where the buyers come alive, or where they live, which is the Wall Street term of
Okay.
of referring to it. But there are a lot of myths around hedge funds, and I want to dispel one right now. People think that these hedge funds are just these like oligarchs trading their own money. That could not be farther from the truth. As a matter of fact, the last fund that I was at, our biggest hedge fund client, right, which was, I believe, about $300 million, was actually a religious institution. It was a church endowment. The second biggest
one
client in the hedge
church?
fund.
It's not like the Catholic Church. Was it like a local parish type thing that had that much money?
Well, I can't say, but it was
All
like
fair.
The
That's a
point
lot of money
is
for a
like,
church.
we're not trading oligarchs' money here, even though it's a hedge fund. It's trading money for what could be the common person. Like, for instance, the second biggest client was a teacher's pension. That I can say, it was the Arizona State teachers pension plan. So, people have this thought that like it's these hedge fund guys are like these oligarchs, trying to take advantage of the little guy. And that's just really not the case. I mean, a lot of times these hedge funds are literally trading for the hedge fund, for the little guys, because ultimately that's who their clients are. I had a little bit of an argument one time with a guy that was an iron worker who was going off about, how Wall Street is so, takes advantage of the little guy and all that. And I said, it's kind of funny you mentioned that, because I work for a hedge fund and we actually manage money for an iron worker's pension, So this guy who's the iron worker might have had money in one of these hedge funds in his pension plan, and he didn't even know it. So that's a myth I like to dispel when I talk to people.
Hey, Mark, sorry, don't want to cut you off here, but we're getting so many questions about the trading education, and we're just going to get it out of the way here, guys. So,
all right, I'm going to get myself.
Okay, yeah, no problem. No problem, Mark. So, guys, I know you've been asking for this for a while. We've been working behind the scenes to bring you this. Luke, Neil, this is a collaborative project, because ultimately we do want to leverage the playing field. Benzinga is here to help retail traders like yourself be able to compete with people like, the top 1%, right, that Mark is talking about.
I've been working at Benzinga for 9 years now. and that's a long time, and I've been doing it because it's some exciting stuff that we're doing.
And today only, guys, we're gonna give you 50% off Benzinga Trading School with Benzinga Pro, with Mark Putrino, and the education, right? So this is something that's not out there. It's something new that we just came up with pretty much to help you guys. This is coming out of a need from retail traders. So just to give you some background, guys, I used to trade before I joined Benzinga, and that's eventually how I got into Benzinga, right? With Luke, I was on the Power Hour. So before I started trading, I did not have any trading education, despite I went to school and I studied finance, business school, just like Neil, just like Luke. We were never taught about pullbacks in school, right? So if you think about it, why is that? Why is it like that, right? Who benefits from you not knowing what you're doing in the market? You know who does? Big money, right? If you cannot make informed financial decisions for yourself, somebody else will make them for you. And that involves you losing money. And that's what we're trying to prevent here, right? I get these calls almost every week. Hey, Rodrigo, I'm down 80K. I don't know what to do. I mean, I've tried every single strategy. I try to scalp. I try to buy the dip. I try to buy the rip, and nothing works. And I'm always down. So ultimately, there's something missing there, right? And we're trying to fill that gap. And with the education, you guys are getting from beginning to advanced. You're going to go over everything: options, crypto, stocks, and ultimately you're going to learn from Mark Putrino, who is a CMT, he's a chartered market technician. So I know a lot of money managers, guys. I don't know a lot of CMTs. CMTs are very few. And the truth is, CMTs know charts very, very well. And price is the ultimate truth. So I know that you guys been waiting for this. We're going to be dropping the link here in a little bit in the chat for the trading education, 50% off with Benzinga Pro. If you get Benzinga Pro by itself, month to month, you'll end up paying more. And I haven't even brought up the special that we're putting in today. We're giving you guys a free laptop, okay? A free laptop with the trading education so that you have all the tools that you need to take advantage of this. Ultimately, this is for you. It's not for us. Benzinga is for the retail trader. Okay. And that is why we're doing this. We want to give you guys the education, but we want to do it before, because if it's too late, eventually I'm going to get that call again. Rodrigo, I'm down 100, 200K. I lost my mortgage. Right. So guys, we want you to really get ahead. And for that, we need to give you the education via Mark. That's what he specializes in. So like Luke said, he blew up his account 3 times. I blew mine up twice. Okay. So we're not trying to compete here, guys, but we need the education for that, because we don't want to, like, here's the thing, guys. Retail traders make the same mistake, not the same person per se, sometimes, but typically we make the same mistake. And the funny thing is that these are the mistakes that are easiest to avoid. So if we don't have the education, we're not going to know what we're doing wrong. You don't know what you don't know, right? So before the education, to be honest, guys, I was just all over the place. I had 30 tabs open on my internet. The data I was getting was unreliable until I found Benzinga Pro, right? And that's one thing. But you can give somebody the tools, but if they don't understand it, it's not going to be much help. And that is why the education is here with Mark, so that you are able to understand and use the tools properly and know what you're looking at. So I mean,
And I see somebody in the chat saying, "What counts as a blow up?" That means your account's going to zero. I did it 3 times, ages 16 to 19. I was ready to be the rock star trader. My idea was I would take my $500 of summer money, turn it into a Dodge Charger within 6 months. It doesn't work like that. That's where the need for discipline and actual education comes from. Took me a couple rough years to figure that one out.
And I wish we wouldn't have to go through that, Luke, as retail traders. But I mean, I come back to the same point. Like when you buy a call or a put and you're way out of the money, and these options, like 90% of them expire worthless. So if something expires worthless, how come? Who is making money, right? We're like figuring this out. Market makers make money. Okay, investment brokerages make money. They make money out of you buying that crazy call out there. So this is the reason why we're doing the education, guys. We are tired of seeing retail holding the bag. Okay. I know that a lot of you guys here are like, I'm reading the chat, and a lot of you guys seem to be beginning. And you know what? That is perfect, because I wish I had something like this when I started. So, for example, Rakesh, too high price. To me, honestly, what is more important, right? Blowing up your account and losing everything, or getting the education to build the account? So, the education could be 1997 for today with the 50% off. Not getting the education, blow up your account and never come back to trading because you don't have the capital means to do that. So ultimately, you do need the education. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. My dad's a lawyer and my mom's a doctor. I can tell you the education is necessary. You're not an attorney, and you're not going to walk into a courtroom and start doing what lawyers do. You're not a neurosurgeon and go to the ER and start operating. Why do people not do that? Because it's illegal, number one. So why do people trade with all this money without knowing what they're doing? Because big money wants you to do that. They want you to be on the bad side of the trade. They want you to be holding the bag. So this is why we're doing this, guys. You might not see it on the surface, but we know this industry very, very well. And that is why we're trying to be here for you. We're trying to give you the education so you don't blow up your account. So you don't do the mistakes that I did when I started. It's not fun, man. Honestly, blowing up your account sucks. So why keep doing it? You're doing the same thing and you're expecting a different result. And that's called insanity. So we want to bring you guys to the level playing field and give you the tools. That is why you have Benzinga Pro. That is the best research tool out there for every single US equity that you have. Luke knows.
So I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to let's not forget to underscore the importance of Benzinga Pro. This is actually the very first tool that we made at Benzinga. This is like a circa 2013, 14 is when we got started. It looks a lot different now than it did then, but basically the idea with Benzinga Pro is that like news was too slow, right? If you're waiting until CNBC covers something in order to get the news on it, it's too slow. The stock has already moved, and so the whole idea with Benzinga Pro is to make it like the real-time information source for individual investors, where when news breaks, we have it within seconds. You can get alerts, you get push notifications, you see the chart, look at the price action all at once. Because again, the idea was there are institutional tools for people to be able to get news as it breaks. But for all of us individual investors, if we're waiting for television to cover it and that's 5-10 minutes later, it's too late. So yeah, I definitely want to make sure we underscore the importance of Benzinga Pro here. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we got the business started, but was to serve that end.
Now with Benzinga Pro, to be honest, guys, this is the tool that you need. Before this, like I said, I had 30 tabs open. The data was expired and it's unreliable. If you're acting on data that is expired, that's not actionable data, right? I used to use different brokerages. I'm not going to say names, but I would see stocks go up 200-300%. And there was no reason why the stock was going up because there was no news. But then I go to my Benzinga Pro and there you go. There's breaking news there. There's articles written by our editors. There's why is it moving tools that are actually, we do work with other brokerages to give them that information. So when you see why is it moving in some of these brokerages, that's data from Benzinga. Ultimately, we are the source of the data. So we have Benzinga exclusives as well. I know that Luke was doing this with Alfie, a great company headquartered here in Miami, where I'm at. And they put this news, went from $2 to $22, $24 when they made the interview here. And this is a company that they do tablets for Uber and Lyft about artificial intelligence advertising, and they respect your privacy. So this is one example of just the ecosystem that Benzinga Pro has. You get the news fast before anybody else. We have the only scanner that is open at 4 a.m. pre-market and aftermarket. Okay, if you're starting to run your scans at 9:30, this is not for you. Okay, trading's not for you. You need to run your scans at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning. But if you do it when everybody else is doing, you see there's no leverage there. You have a leverage with Benzinga, with our scanners, with the ecosystem. And on top of that, you have great service here. And I don't know if you can see in Luke's screen the buy and sell button. I know we're getting some questions about that. This is testing. This is only for Benzinga employees. Okay, so it's not a feature. We don't have a timeline on it, guys, but I just saw a couple of questions about that. Christina, absolutely. You cannot learn options trading in an hour. And you know what's the worst part? Some people start trading with options. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know who's giving them permission to do this, but you know who likes that? Big money, because they take away money from them when they buy calls way out of the money. So that's why we're doing the education. That's why we're giving this for you. Omar, payment plans, call me, brother. Let's throw my contact in there, Luke. Absolutely. I'm don't worry, guys. I respect the fact that you guys are trying to get an education.
Wait,
And
you
that
want me
is
to put your phone number on there?
no, my work, not my personal phone number, like the other time.
Maybe we'll put both on.
Let's see. Already have a new laptop. John Fowler. Hmm. John, you got to call me. Okay. We got to talk. Um, Jeffrey Moore, educate yourself before attempting to trade. Exactly. You see, you guys are getting the point. You know where I'm coming from. This is not, voodoo magic. This is the truth. We keep it real here for you guys. And that's why we can make this connection because we're talking truth, right? So and I mean, we haven't even touched on Pro that much, to be honest, guys. Literally, we just showed you a couple features. We have unusual options activity. What's another feature, Luke, that you like to use?
All right, my favorite, this is what I use to get me started in the mornings because I'm like a big planner, right? Like I'm getting into my Sunday planning for the week ahead right now. My favorite that I love to use in the morning is this screen right here, where I can
Mhm.
look at all the moves and all the volume. Let me zoom in, sort of small. I can look at all the moves and all the volume on stocks pre-market. I can get the sense of what's moving, what groups of stocks are moving. If I see all the energy stocks moving lower, I see all the Chinese stocks moving higher.
Mhm.
It gives me a chance to go and spot some of the laggards, and again have a feel for the day and what's going to be relevant during the day. The other thing that I love is the chat room here. The thing that I like about the chat room in Benzinga Pro specifically is that it's not an open chat, right? It's just members of Benzinga Pro, not like an open internet forum
100%.
with millions of people. Everybody who's in that chat is pretty darn serious,
Mhm.
and at least in the intermediate level, I'd say at least the people who are posting regularly. So I get a lot of idea flow out of that chat. I see symbols popping up. I see the setups. That's why I think that one's interesting.
And here's the other thing. I didn't mention this, but I'm sure some of you guys know my experience with trading. I pretty much joined a lot of public chat rooms, and that was the worst mistake that I made. And I hope you're not doing that because at the end of the day, I realized that these public chats, were just pump and dumps with fake profiles, bots, and it's just you can see the messages. It's just immature kids talking to each other, insulting each other. It's like I'm not here for this. I'm here to make money. I want to get this away from me. So that is why the Benzinga chat here is great because this is verified members. But I know that in different places, you're going to find that, unfortunately, right? And if you're a new trader, you're going into these public chat rooms, you will get sucked in because some baby toes 89 username is saying it's going to the moon. And this is the worst place where you can get your research. Public chat rooms, there's a lot of lies being spread in these chat rooms. But ultimately, getting back here to Pro, I don't know if I think Luke is somewhere out there, but if there's so many different tools here, guys. The advanced newsfeed. Hey, you're muted, Luke.
Sorry, I had to get a second coffee. I'm
That's
back.
fine. That's fine. I want to go over the advanced newsfeed. This is an insane tool, guys, and you have to use it. Um, you know where the advanced newsfeed is, Luke? The advanced newsfeed.
Yes, sir. Let me do that for you.
This
Do
is
I know where
basically
the advanced newsfeed is? This is my baby. Okay.
okay.
Like,
Okay. So
what do you want to see?
Well, I just want to do a quick intro, guys. You know the power of search. You know the power of Google. You know the power of keywords. I used to do marketing and I still back in the day. This is amazing. You can filter the news by your keyword. What are your keywords? I can tell you one of mine's FDA approval. Bang. Okay. What are some of your keywords, Luke?
You already called out the FDA one. I'm like really keen on the China trade right now, and I'm not saying that I'm keen on it one way or another. Like I'm really bullish those stocks or bearish those stocks. I'm
Mhm.
really keen on trading those stocks. They move as a pack, and it gives you room to pick out laggards. And once you follow the space for a little while, you know which ones are more susceptible to some of this geopolitical news that causes movement and that sort of thing. So a keyword that I keep typed in often is just China, right? And we'll have that sitting up in a corner of my screen, so that way when there is macroeconomic news on it, I'm ready to hit it. And I see Shelly in the chat saying Luke is going to say DD again. I am long and strong DD with some out of the money calls. Let's go. I got like maybe another 2 months left on them or something like that. So we'll see.
Okay, so and this is just how we use it. Another one that I use is Delta variant, because I just use the word variant. I don't know if you guys know, there's a new variant out, Lambda, came from Peru. How do I find out? Benzinga Pro. But before anything, guys, I do want
wait,
to
wait,
just
wait. There's a new variant.
yeah, you don't know?
No.
Okay, I've
What's
done a
it
lot of
called?
research. I've done a lot of research.
I see somebody asking, do I have yin? I don't have any yin. Or
Yang,
yang.
no,
Maybe
yin
that's
yang.
a joke. Okay.
They're
Maybe
trolling you,
me.
Luke.
They got
You
me.
get it?
They got me.
Yes. So we have the Delta variant, guys. The Delta variant is, my mom's a doctor. She kind of explained it to me. But I can tell you from experience, you will get headaches, you will get fevers. It's not nice. Okay. Lambda variant apparently is somewhat resistant to vaccines, from what I heard on it's from Peru. Either way, you are not going to be on top of the market if you don't have this. I will tell you one thing. Go to June 3rd on all the COVID stocks. That is when the pop happened. And you'll see that, because that is when the news of this virus, Delta and RSV, the other virus respiratory, came out. So if you do RSV also, Luke, that is the actual virus that people are getting, and this is happening to kids all around. You see, Moderna got a fast track for their RSV that was in phase 2, I believe, and that's why Moderna rallied. People don't even know why Moderna rallied. They're like, oh, Moderna rallied because there's Delta cases. No, my friend, it rallied because they got the vaccine for RSV approved. So this is where you find the news that nobody else is talking about. CNBC was not talking about this. You found it here if you know how to use these tools. So this is where I come back to, you can have all the best tools in the world.
I love the really straightforward what's going on with Moderna stock today. I mean, it doesn't get more direct than that.
100%. That's all Benzinga. There's a huge team of developers, a huge team of writers behind Benzinga. This is an international community of traders and investors, and we trade everything, guys. And that's why we love being here for you, because this is a community for traders. We have our backs. We help each other. That is what we do. There's communities out there for dating, right? There's communities out there for other things. But this is a community for traders to come together, share trade ideas, and help each other. And that's just a small thing. Like, I'm on the advanced news feed every single day. I'm trying different keywords because I'm not going to find this news anywhere else, guys. Never.
Okay, but one of the things that I like on the advanced news feed is the
Filter?
market cap filters.
Yes.
Sometimes I want to look for small stocks. Boom. Look at that. I just loaded up news on all the small cap stocks. Right. If I'm feeling more risk adverse, more risk seeking, less risk adverse, I want to look at small, even micro cap stocks to see what news is out on those names, because they're more likely to move on news. Then I'll go ahead and do that. If we're in a market environment where I want to stick to some of the bigger names, right? I want to look at all these mega cap stocks, 200 billion plus. I want to look at our Amazons, our Teslas, etc. I can do that and have that bigger picture. And Owen in the chat looking for Rodrigo's phone number. It is on the screen, sir.
Yes, I see that Christina is asking, you get immediate news on newsfeed? Yes, Benzinga does license news to different brokerages like Ameritrade, Thinkorswim. It's free because we license it out to them. So yes, we are the source of the news for this. Just in case you didn't know, Christina, we do license news to every single brokerage in the US. We are the only financial media that can say that. Okay, 50 million people depend on Benzinga content every month, and we're the only content provider to every brokerage in the US, right, Luke?
Yes, yeah. Benzinga News is in all the brokerages: Fidelity, E-Trade, Interactive Brokers, Ameritrade, Schwab, Robinhood, Webull. I mean, Public. We could run down the list, which is really cool. As somebody who's been here again for 9 years, really since we got this thing going, being able to click through all the brokerage accounts and seeing Benzinga content on there is probably the coolest thing that we do. other than trading school. Okay.
Yes, and the trading school guys, literally, this came out of customer
We are
request
on light speed too. Yep. The light speed lime combo.
everywhere, everywhere. Seriously,
JP
this
Morgan is another one that we have. I mean, there's a handful of others.
interactive, Robinhood,
We
Webull.
can go outside of the US too and start naming the non-US ones.
Yes. So this is the difference, guys. There is a big difference between a bank, like a checking saving account bank, and financial media. We, Benzinga, have the relationships with every single PR that matters, that moves stock prices. So the news will come to us, and then we relay that data to the brokerage. Now, you want to get the data faster, you can join Benzinga Pro, but even better, you can get the trading education today, right? Don't wait till you're
And people
down
are
40
bringing up a good point. We're spending a lot of time on pro and less on the trading school. Can you recap, I guess, again, what the trading school is, where the link is, and then
Yes.
maybe, just maybe, we can bring Mark in to grab a couple other tickers out of the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So trading education, guys, it's going to be for a full year. You can retake all the courses if you want. You can take them twice if you want, 3, 4, 5 times. It doesn't matter. If you want to brush up on technicals, you can do that as well. Courses are from 1 to 2 months duration. You will have a classroom setting. You will have Mark as your instructor. You will have homework, quizzes, and you will be graded on that, because truly we do want you to learn this stuff. And if you feel like you need to take it again, no problem. We'll have another class come in and you can join that class, and you will have a chat room where you will basically communicate with Mark and with the other classmates, where you can put in trades and all of that. So you will get Benzinga Pro, everything that we went over here with Luke. You will get the laptop and you will get the education with Mark. Just by that, that is the best way you can start. I saw a lot of beginners here. This is probably the best thing that you can start with the trading education. 50% off just for today.
Sunday fun day, baby. Summer Sundays. We had 700 people here wanting to get ready for the week. I hope everybody took advantage. I wrote down my list of symbols as we were hammering through them, grabbing the tickers out of the chat, getting the quick reactions from everybody, and especially from Mark, positive, negative. I
I
was
do need to
jotting
do
them
one thing
down.
though. I do
Yeah.
need to do one thing here, Luke. And I'm sorry, guys, I forgot, but we do need to welcome the new members. Okay. Let's go over. We're not going to give away. We're not going to give away the emails. Don't worry. But we're just going to welcome some of you guys here. All right, guys. Pierre, Darren, Melissa, thanks for joining. Will, Tom, let's go. Sunday fun day. Luke Jacoby in the house. Let's go.
You even have an air horn. I dig it.
I took Luke's air horn, guys. Okay.
All right, Rodrigo. Should we grab Mark to hit a couple more tickers? We have a few more that are outstanding that we didn't get to yet.
Yeah, let's get to the education. And just to clarify, Mark is only giving you a sneak peek, guys. Don't think we're going to give you the whole 9 yards here, because that's not, the education. We can't sum it up in 30 minutes, guys. I know you want to
How
learn
long is the course? I know it's like college style courses. How long is it?
It's about 1 to 2 months for the course, but pretty much the membership is year long. So you can retake all the courses that are added, the same course. You can retake them as many times as you want. Like college, the only difference is that this tuition will actually help you make money. That's the difference.
Cool. Copy that. All right, let's bring Mark on and let's grab a couple more of these tickers out of the chat that we didn't hit yet. Mark, I'm gonna throw a hot one at you. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
HOOD. It's been a wild one. Robinhood. IPO, what, 1-2 weeks ago. Curious where you're at with a stock like this. We kept seeing it pop up in the chat.
I have trouble analyzing something like Robinhood because it doesn't have a long enough trading history to really have important levels and trends to to consider. So unfortunately, I can't really offer anything educated on this. I will say though that if people want to own Robinhood long term, Robinhood makes most of their money by selling their order flow. And some people are against that. So that's something to keep in mind if someone wants to own Robinhood long term, that's something that they should do a little bit of research into. But from a technical point of view, it's really hard for me to see anything here. I mean, I would say that there's probably going to be support down to 35 if it gets down there. But there's just not enough of a history there for me to really analyze it.
All right.
Go ahead,
Rodrigo.
I do know a little bit about Robinhood myself, so I just want to fill in. I actually traded Robinhood. I bought calls. I bought the stock at 34. I'm very bullish on Robinhood, and just wanted to say, like, they grew their revenue year over year like 500%. They were like 270, 280 mil. 2019, 2020, they went like to 982 million. They're knocking on the door of 1 billion in sales. Okay, say what you want about GameStop and AMC, they are making money, and they're not going to stop making money. So, yeah, I just wanted to fill in that little gap because I am bullish on Robinhood.
Do you still have your calls?
No, I sold those. I sold those, and it was a quick trade. With IPOs, like, I know they pop at the beginning, and then they have like a dip, and then it became a meme stock. And I didn't buy it for the meme. All right, I bought it like for like an investment, and suddenly the next morning I wake up.
That was a crazy day. I mean,
it became a meme stock, like, and I'm like, shit, now I'm trapped in a meme stock. Like, this is not what I was trying to do.
We all get trapped. All right, let me grab another one. I saw, gosh, where did this ticker go? Oh, I lost. Oh, here it is. This is an interesting one. Ticker DRNA. I think this is maybe Dario Health. I don't know. This is one that I don't know, which is why I think it's interesting. Getting whoa. All right,
Is
there's
this
a
it? Or
sell-off for you.
Pharmaceuticals?
I don't know. I don't know the stock, but which is why I thought it would be an interesting one. Like, it's different than our typical Neo, Palantir, Babas, etc.
I mean, it looks to me like this thing is oversold and it's at support. Could be a good time to buy it.
Okay, and let me ask you this: so if you have the long view on it, would you hit it long now, or would you wait until you start to see some buying and some settling out at the bottom?
Again, I might wait for it to trend up. Again, we could put in a trend line. Trend lines are kind of a funny thing because they're subjective. But as with all technical analysis, if you don't just look for symbols or patterns, but if you actually understand what they illustrate, you're going to be able to do a lot better. A lot of traders or beginners, they just look on charts and they look at patterns and they say, oh, that's a pennant, or oh, that's a flag, or oh, that's a head and shoulders. But they don't really understand what they mean. If you understand what they illustrate in the sense of the supply and demand dynamics I talked about, they're going to be much more helpful and easy to understand. Now, what is this simple trend line? Well, when the bears are in control, the stock goes down. Okay. This trend line here, if the stock crosses it, that's just going to be a graphical illustration that the bears are, maybe they haven't lost control, but they've become equalized with the bulls. So a situation like this could be, we have our setup now, the stock is oversold, it's close to 20, that's an important psychological level. So there should be some buyers there. So now we have this set up. The trigger to enter the trade would be once this trend line gets broken. But that's kind of the key, and that's one of the main things I want to teach in my classes for people. If you understand the dynamics of what these patterns are supposed to illustrate, you don't even really need to remember the names of them. It's like there's a lot of candlestick patterns like that. You just have to learn what these things are illustrating, and it makes it a lot more comprehensible that way.
All right, let me give you one more that I'm seeing in the chat, and this is one that got absolutely hammered just on Friday. It's ticker SESN, and the question is more so, when you look at a chart like this, what do you think about, or even if you're long this stock, right, and you get a big red candle like that? I mean, how do we manage those?
Wow, that's a pretty ugly looking day.
Yeah, this was, I think, at least for a couple hours, this was like the most trending stock on my Twitter feed. I mean, it was like, oh god, there's some people that are trapped in this thing.
Oh, I see. They got it. They got declined for a.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
drug related thing. Guys, all these FDA stocks, especially these pre-revenue ones, I mean, I don't even play with them. Maybe I should, right, if the charts look good, but I just think I have no competitive advantage in understanding if this company is going to pass a trial, et cetera. I let them sit personally.
Yeah, I think what you have to be aware of if you're a biotech investor is that a lot of these companies really just have maybe one product that they're focused on, and if it doesn't work out, it could mean disaster for the stocks. But that being said, biotech investing is the type of thing where you might make 10 investments and 9 of them might not work out, but the one that does work out is going to more than overcompensate for the losses that you had from the other positions. So, but that being said, this stock is it traded all the way down to 70 cents, it looks like, and it came all the way back and closed around $2. So my guess is that where is my horizontal line? My guess is that if this thing can hold above, let's see, it closed pretty much right at 210, and 210 was support here. So my guess is that if this thing holds over 210 for the next day or two, this was probably an overreaction to the news, and we could see a bit of a rally or a bit of an uptrend. So I would keep an eye on this 210 level. And again, this is another example of where you can see that certain levels are more important than others. I mean, 210 is exactly where this thing found a bottom on April 20th and April 21st, and it's pretty much right where it closed. So watch the 210 level with this one.
Okay, and then what about Novavax? Ticker NVAX. I see April's been asking about that one for a while. Let's look at that one.
Okay, now when I look at this, the first thing I see is that it is at a resistance level. All right, so this is, let's call it 257. So we're at a resistance level. We can see we're overbought with a Bollinger Band a little bit. Let's see what the RSI indicator shows us. Not as overbought as I thought down here. All right, so this is what I'm looking at. We're at this resistance level. So, over the next day or two, we're probably going to know. See, sometimes when these stocks reach important levels, they don't really hang out there for too long. They either break through or they revert. It's very rare that something like this will just, kind of trade sideways. Like you see how here it was just there, and then just for like one day. So I would say we have to keep an eye on this 257-ish level. We're a little bit overbought. But after some consolidation, if we can break through this, the uptrend could resume. So this is at what we call an inflection point, being right at this resistance. So I would say if you're considering selling this stock, it's probably a good time to do so. Because if you're right, this is going to end up being resistance, and it's going to end up trending lower after that.
All right, Mark, and you've already hung out with us for like 80 minutes on your summer Sunday afternoon. So let me ask you for one more, and we'll let you go. But ticker NOK, Nokia.
Yeah, this stock is, this looks pretty good to me in the sense that, it's like we said before, the trend is your friend. It's in a nice solid uptrend. It had this massive move here up to 979. It came all the way back down to the 380 level. So this is a little bit old. But yeah, like this is, to me, this looks like a nice looking chart. You don't want things to jack up too fast, right? Because then they reverse.
Like that nice steady grind is what you like.
Yeah. some motorcycle guys riding down my road. Yeah, is you want this nice, slow, steady uptrend. So to me, this stock looks pretty good. The bulls are in control.
Awesome. So, all right, Mark. We've been pushing through, getting ready for the week ahead. I hope everybody had their pen and paper and we're jotting down symbols, ideas, building the watch list for the week. I'm just about done with my week planning. Any final thoughts as we head into Monday? And it's at 16 hours from now, really.
For me, yeah, I would say a couple things. The reason why most investors blow up or lose money is because they're guessing. They don't have a plan. They go in a chat room and they hear a symbol and they think it sounds cool and they're just guessing. They're just throwing money at it. So with my class, what I want to teach people to do is how to develop plans. And it doesn't really need to be complicated or overly sophisticated. Just by focusing on which levels are the important ones, what are the trends, what's the momentum, and then at the extremes for the broader market, what's the sentiment? But, there are no secret, these hedge fund managers that are successful don't have any secret formulas, that they won't share with anyone. They're successful because they understand these dynamics of levels, trends, and momentum. So I am confident that if you guys, stick with us, you're going to learn a lot and you're going to end up making a lot of money.
Awesome, Mark. Very much appreciated. We appreciate you taking the time, and I guess I'll say the life pivot too. When you saw your blood pressure was too high from trading at a hedge fund, to
I
go
guess
out and do something different.
Everyone out there, go get your blood
pressure. Go get your blood.
Tested,
yeah, if you're trading, get your blood pressure tested.
Might be too high.
That's the message today.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to tune off and head over to the golf course and pretend I'm a golfer for a few hours.
Boom. There you go.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Mark.
And Rodrigo, I keep seeing questions about what exactly is the trading school? Where does the education end?
Yeah.
Where will people be once they get through it? Can you just go give us a little bit more on that?
Yes, guys. So the education starts from the most basic side. We start from the beginning and then we start heading into intermediate and advanced subjects per se. We touch on crypto. We touch on every single asset class there, how to chart it. We trade on we learn of fundamentals. We also talk about options, and that is obviously a little bit more advanced. But ultimately, guys, the education is important because you can't ignore it, right? Ignoring the education is basically irresponsible trading, the way that I look at it. So if you are going to do something with your own money, why not get educated for it, right? Like even if you're a realtor, which everybody here is a realtor in Miami, they had to pass some sort of test, exam, certification, right? And with trading, you can make a lot of money with it, but ultimately you can trade without any education. They let you go in there. Don't think that that's great right away, because the reason they like it is because they probably know you don't know what you're doing. And you can get lucky a couple of times, but luck is not going to last forever. It's not a strategy. You can have 2 good trades, or 1 good trade, 3 good trades. Last year, 2020, everybody was making money. So, I hear people that just started trading and they're like, oh, I'm a trading guru. I'm an investor guru and I know everything about the stock market. No, everybody made money last year because stocks went down so much that they had to come back up. They found pretty much intrinsic value, and you had a huge amount of QE and a lot of, strategic things that were done by the government and secretary, by pretty much the Treasury Secretary. So this is not a normal market. If you started trading in COVID, you probably got spoiled. You did get spoiled because you only saw stocks go up. And now you think that stocks only go up. Okay. And you get your heart broken if you don't make 1,000% in one day. You say that trading is a scam if you don't make 500% on every trade. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but that's not how the market works. That's not how any of this works. That was a once in a lifetime pandemic situation that happened where everybody made money in the market. Literally everybody. My dog made money in the market. Okay. Now that we are in this situation, dealing with the aftermath of COVID, of the aftermath of all these things that happened, the aftermath of not having everything like we did before. Stocks already went down. Now they're up so much. Now that people are losing money, they're getting washed out of the market. And you know who's getting washed out of the market at the first? The same people from the COVID 2020 that thought that stocks only go up. If you think that stocks only go up, you're in for a treat. You're probably going to blow up your account and you're going to make some really bad financial decisions. Why? Because you really didn't get any education. If you were to educate somebody in trading with the year 2020, that'd probably be the worst education that you could find, because that is a once in 100 years and it's not going to happen again. So we need to educate ourselves as retail traders on how we're going to tackle this market. This is not the same market we had in 2020. And we need to know how to react to that, right? You can't just pretend that stocks will always go up. If you do that, it's not going to be a fun time, guys. And I get those calls, and I don't want to get those calls. Those calls where people tell me that they're down 100, 200%. I'm sorry, like $1,000, 200K. And I'm asking them, like, how did you get into trading? How did you start trading? You know what they say? Well, I just saw GameStop and AMC, and I put all my money, I put all my mortgage on GameStop at 500. Like, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Those kind of decisions that are just purely based on emotions are not good. If you would make trading decisions based on real education from somebody who is a CMT, chartered market technician, somebody that knows what he's doing, you would have a totally different experience. So I want you guys I need to set proper expectations. I need to set proper expectations because there are people that just got into trading. They see AMC and their stock is down 2%, and every stock is not going to go up 1,000%. And that is something that some people have been wired to believe because of the year 2020. And that's not how it works. So with the education, we're going to set proper expectations on trades, on entries, on exits, real fundamental analysis, real technical analysis, price channels, how to analyze the macro and the micro, how to do a top-down approach and find pockets of strength. This is what they don't teach you anywhere, right? You know what they like I said, in finance, all they teach you is really the money management part, calculating dividends, calculating offerings, the stuff that honestly to me is a little boring. I have more fun trading, and I think that you guys do as well, but we need to be responsible about it. We need responsible trading. We can't just be trading with, big quantities of money just by going off by what we see on a public pump and dump chat room, guys. But I'm going to go over some questions here. Christina, yes, people don't know this. I'm surprised because, well, I still get the call. I get the call all the time. Every week, at least I talk with 3 people that tell me, yeah, I put all my mortgage down. And it's like, these are not nice calls to take, guys. But we want to change that. We want to help you guys. And this is why we're doing this. We want to help retail traders. We want to empower retail traders. And even if you're having a bad trade, or you've had a couple bad trades, or you're thinking about quitting or something, don't feel discouraged, because ultimately you need to see yourself in 5 years, and you need to determine what you want to do, right? If you want to be a full-time trader, part-time trader, figure that out first. But ultimately, you have to see it for yourself. Even if nobody else sees it, you must see it for yourself. Benzinga represents an idea. It represents possibilities for retail traders. If you want to go to the next level with your trading, you need to invest your time in your craft. You need to invest in your mind.
Yeah.
Money
You're
is a
going to
means
do
to
it
an
one
end.
or two ways. All right. I did it the way where I blew up accounts. Right. That was my method for learning. It took me 3 years. I blew up 3 accounts. And when I say blow up an account, that means I funded it, lost all the money. You either do that or you do the course. I didn't do education. I thought I was the smartest person in the world. The plan was take the first $1,000, turn it into 20,000. Didn't work for me. I'm now 6 years without having blown up any accounts. But I mean, it took me 3 years and 3 blown up accounts, and it was a disaster.
Right. And we don't want people to go over what we had to go through, Luke, honestly, because it's not nice, right? And we keep it real for you guys, right? That's why Benzinga, we give you the facts, we give you the real thing, right? It's not news with a twist like other places. This is like simple news. But personally, I want to tell you guys something. If you're really motivated about becoming a full-time trader, I know a lot of you guys here are still probably in the 9 to 5, and you want to get out of that, right? You want to be able to be a full-time trader or a full-time options trader or whatever it is. But I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. And I mean nothing. Nelson Mandela said there's no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one that you are capable of living. And some people say, when you come to this situation, that just make sure you have something to fall back on. And I really never understood that, right? Because I always think if I'm going to fall, I'm going to fall forward, because that way I can see what I'm going to hit. So don't be afraid to start. Don't quit, because without consistency, you'll never finish. So do what you're passionate about, take chances, and don't be afraid to fail. There was an old IQ test where you have to draw 5 lines within 9 dots without lifting the pencil. And the only way to do this was to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box, guys. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in the history of baseball. But you don't hear about the strikeouts, only the home runs, right? That's what I mean about falling forward. So ultimately, guys, falling forward, every failed experiment leads you one more step closer to success. That is what we're doing here. Even if we fail, or even if we're trying and we don't know what we're doing wrong, we want you to be successful in trading. And that is why we're giving you the tools. That's why we brought in Mark, CMT, Trading with Steve Cohen. Like, if you don't know who that guy is, like I said, you need to start reading about the industry, because if you don't know who he is, you should know who he is, who Stephen Cohen is, no doubt. And that's why we're giving you Pro, the best tool out there to do your research, guys. Before Pro, I had 30 tabs open. Trust me, my computer was so slow. It was a damn mess. I could barely find news, and it was so old. There's no point in it, right? The stock already went up so much. So this is why you get Pro, because you want to get in early, right? You want to find trades before you find out why they went up, right? You want to see the news and take action instead of hearing from somebody about the stock and the news and all of that. So ultimately, guys, I've been in your shoes. I blew up my account twice. Like I said, it's not fun. I didn't give up. And
All
I
right,
don't.
you were one
Yeah,
time faster than I was. And guys, if you have any questions about Benzinga Pro or about the trading school, I just put Rodrigo's phone number in the chat. I hope he's not pissed. I guess he shared it on the screen. He can't be pissed. But I just put Rodrigo's phone number in the chat. Feel free to give him a buzz, or leave him a voicemail if you want to call right now, and he'll give you a call back to talk you through it.
absolutely, guys. I'm gonna be working today, and I'll be taking some calls, guys. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say here is that you have to take risks. You have to take risks in life, and I'm sure you probably heard that before. But I want to tell you why it's so important. Failure is a part of success. Only if we learn from it. Otherwise, it's eternal failure. With Benzinga Trading School, you will see the failures before they happen. You will protect your capital, and you will expand your capital. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know where you went wrong. You don't know what you don't know. And you can't be mad at yourself for not knowing. However, you can be mad at yourself for not getting the education, because trading without education is irresponsible. And we only encourage responsible trading. How do we do that? We give you the tools for that. So
Yeah,
ultimately,
it's all
guys,
about the
yep,
plan, knowing how to build the plan. That's what it comes down to for me. The tools, obviously, you need that to formulate the plan. But if you don't know if you don't have the plan or know how to make the plan, you're in a tough spot.
right. If you don't know what you're doing wrong, you're never going to be able to fix that problem. So I was making the same mistake for like 6 times on a row. Buying the top, buying the rip, and selling the dip, right? Number one mistake for traders, investors. And ultimately, this is when our emotions get the best out of us. You would not be emotional if you would know what to do. You would not be doing emotional trading if you would have the educational background for trading. You see, when we don't know what we're doing, we fall back and we rely on our emotions. So we don't want to rely on our emotions for trading. We want to be able to rely on actual knowledge, experience to do our trading. I want to tell you a little story. And this is really where I started trading. I was trying to get data information. I was trying to literally find trading, news, and I was having a tough time. Right? I got on YouTube and I was trying to go to different places to find this information, and I was seeing a lot of people saying one thing and then another place said another thing, and I didn't like it when people gave news with their own spin. I didn't like it. I was watching CNBC, and you know where I'm going with this, but basically, until I found Benzinga, my account really didn't change till that point. I started using Benzinga Pro. Luckily, since I work here, I talk to Mark behind the scenes and we talk about trades. He gives me insights. And, I've learned from all of, the great characters that we have here in trading. So ultimately, if you don't learn, you really can't be mad at anybody but yourself. You can't blame the market being rigged if you've never gotten any trading education. And don't tell me that YouTube is the university that you're going to, because he has to be a professional with a verified track record like Mark. You see who he's working with, who was working with Stephen Cohen. That is the kind of person that you want on your corner. That is the kind of experience that you need to really get into trading. So ultimately, guys, the education, it all falls back on you. Why? Because nobody can learn for you. That is the one thing in life that you cannot tell somebody else to do for you. Nobody went to school for me. Nobody went to school for Luke. We had to go there. We had to read, learn, put countless hours of studying. Same thing for trading. There's no reason why we need to treat it differently. Just because they let you do it doesn't mean you should. Just because you have a car that goes 200 miles an hour doesn't mean you should. So this is where I'm going at. We need the education before we go out there and really try to put our own money that we've been working so hard to get into the market for so long. Because how many losses can you take before you destroy your account? How many losses can you take before you are no longer able to trade because there's no more capital, there's no more cash in that account, and you have to wait 5 more years to save money to be able to put another trade? If you don't want to experience that, you need to get education, guys. So that's really where we're going with this, guys. The education is important. We've seen it. And yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I see a lot of you guys we've got like 20 new members here. Luke, don't know if you saw this new influx.
No,
Great
I
for-
didn't see it yet. Then that's good because for any new members who are joining us today, we're actually doing a laptop. I don't think the laptops are making it past today because they're pretty expensive to be able to ship out. But anybody who is joining today, we're going to send you a laptop as well. So that way you can follow the exact same software that Mark's following, the same software that I run, that Rodrigo runs. Because if you can't do that, it makes the trading school a lot more difficult. So anybody who's joining today, we are shipping a laptop over to you as well.
Yes, and the education is going to be in a separate portal. So we have a portal just for the education. It's not on YouTube. We have an educational portal where you will join. You will have access to Benzinga Pro, access to the portal where all the courses are saved, and you can review them. So if you are busy working a 9 to 5 or whatever it is that you're doing, you can go back to look at the class and with the instructor. And these are not pre-recorded classes. These are classes that are done live with Mark, the instructor. So this is a non-going education. And honestly, if you have the education, you'll have pro forever. But that's kind of what you want, right? Doesn't matter what career you're in, you will need continuous education. You will need to be able to continue educating yourself as a trader. Do you think hedge funds and big money didn't have to educate themselves on what is a tendy? What are tendies? And what are diamond hands? Even CNBC was running a segment like 10Ds means big returns. That's not for retail traders, I'll tell you that. That's for the boomers out there. So everybody has to continue learning. Learning is an ongoing process. Hedge funds have to get educated on meme stocks and retail traders, right? but they're already way far ahead. As retail traders, we need to educate ourselves and equip ourselves with the knowledge and the tools so that the playing field can be even. That is why Benzinga started. That is why Benzinga is here, because we're leveling the playing field. We knew that big firms had access to data that retail traders did not, and we wanted to do something about it. And that's why Benzinga started, and that's why we continue to go hard on the weekends with you. Doesn't matter what day we come here, we bring you the top talent people that really are willing to help you. Because you can bring somebody like Jordan Belfort here, and at the end of the day, I'm sorry, I wouldn't want to learn from him, to be honest. I want to learn from somebody that's willing to teach me. I want to learn from somebody that's willing and wants to teach, and that's Mark. Mark loves to teach his students. Mark loves educating you guys, and a lot of you guys here that I'm seeing are already members, so you guys already know what I'm talking about. So Jesse, absolutely, man. So much to gain. And you know what? There's also a lot on the line if you don't get the education. And this is just coming from experience. I wish that wouldn't have been my experience. Like, who would want to blow up their account twice? I'm pretty sure nobody. Would you avoid it if somebody were to tell you, oh, well, there's, you can get educated on it, and if you say, no, I don't need education, that sounds so bad. It even feels bad for me to say that. But yes, we do need to get the education, guys, because if you're putting 100 grand in the market, if you're putting 50 grand in the market, 20 grand in the market, you're not getting any sort of education, that's where I think that we need to start, so that we don't get any issues of, I don't get those calls. Rodrigo, I blew up my account, I'm down 50K, what do I do? Well, you should have joined the trading school 2 weeks ago when we first talked. Those are the calls that I go over.
And if you're thinking about whether or not today is the time to join, one, keep in mind that opportunity cost, right, of either losing money on your own because you don't have the community, the mentorship, the education, and then two, like we just mentioned, with anybody who joins us right now, we are sending a laptop your way. You'll literally get a full laptop, so that way we can make sure you can run all the same software that we're running, and have the tools that you need to be successful in the market. The laptops are not going to be sticking around. They're pretty expensive. It costs like $50 to ship each of them. Plus, we have to actually buy the laptops. So if you're thinking about it's interesting, but I don't know if now is the time, I'm telling you guys, now is the time. It is all pre-recorded, so you can go back and watch it later. There are daily calls. There is a daily chat room. So again, the opportunity cost is high. Every day that we don't improve ourselves, we don't get after it. Yeah, exactly. You just got to do it. Okay.
And ultimately, guys, look, these are the two options. Okay. And you know that I keep it real for you. There's two choices. You get the education, you learn, you grow, you really start learning informed financial decisions, or you don't get the education, right? Like, say you skip high school, you skip middle school, you skip college, and somehow you think you're going to like make it, right? Somehow you think you're going to be able to make it. And 99% of the times it's not going to come out that way. We need to be smart about this, and the sooner the better. There's like, I don't know if you guys heard this before, but for example, like if a tree is growing bent, it's going to grow bent, and you're not going to be able to change the tree once it's already grown into a full grown adult tree, right? That's what you call it. However, if you correct the posture of the tree when it's a small little tree coming out, it will grow like a normal tree. What does this mean? This means that the sooner you get the education, the better it is for you in financial terms, right? Meaning your account. So if you're trying to get the education when you're already down 200 grand, it's going to be a lot harder to get back to where you were. Mark, I can work with you on a payment plan. Just email me or call me. Back to what we were talking about. Now, if you're actually able to straighten up that tree when it's a little tree, right? When it's coming up, you see the leaves and everything, it's going to grow straight, and you're going to be on the right path. And that is why you need to do this. The sooner, the better. If you don't do this today and you try to do this in 3 years, number one, you will have lost a lot of money in the market. And number two, you will have missed all of the education and knowledge that you could have built on top. And that's the thing. You're not going to get time back. That is the one thing in life that you can't buy. So that needs to be your treasure. I value time over money. Time is the most important thing out there for me, more than money. So if you put the time into what matters, the money will follow. You put in the time into the education. That is what matters. Put it in time before you go out and put 50 grand in the market. It seems pretty insane that people would do that. 50 grand, 100 grand in the market and zero education. Like, to me, it's still hard to come up with the concept of why would somebody do that. But Sarah, yeah, we'll do a payment plan. Email me, call me. I'll be reaching out to you guys after. But back to the point here, guys. With the treat, that's how you want to treat the education. There is a reason why we go to kinder when we're like 4 or 5 or something like that, because we need to start learning when we start, right? We don't want to start learning when we already think we have it down, because then what happens is that you're going to have to unlearn 20 years or 15 years of what you thought was happening, and you're going to have to learn what really is happening with the market. So it's better to learn the right way than to learn the wrong way, unlearn all of that, and then start from scratch. Because you know what you're not getting back is that time and that money that you lost. So I have Benzinga Pro. How do I get the classes? Cartiv, send me an email and we'll definitely get in touch today. Today we're gonna do this, okay? We're gonna do this today, Cartiv. Don't worry, I'll reach out. Just email me or call me. And let's see. I know I saw a lot of different questions. Any way to get a class scheduled? Call me, Jay. We can talk about it in detail. What is the discounted cost for the course and not the laptop? That's going to be a la carte. So Lakshmi, you're going to have to call me or email me and we can go over that. Kathleen, is this new or have you done this before? Well, Mark, I mean, you heard his background, trading with one of the biggest. So he's not new. The fact that we're able to package and bring this together to you, yes, that would be new. This is the Benzinga Trading School. It's the beginning, and you guys are going to be grandfathered in to the best trading system out there. There's nothing like this. I know because I've tried a lot of them. I know because I spent a lot of money on them and didn't learn anything. So I've learned a lot from Mark, enough to make a difference in my account. And if it worked for me, I don't know why it wouldn't for you. But you always remember, you have to put in the time. You got to put in the time into your craft, into education, into investing in your mind. This is a revenue, a skill that is literally going to bring revenue to your pocket. Even if you're retired, even if you're sick trading from your couch, if you know this, you're going to build on this knowledge. So the sooner you start, the better. I talked to this guy who's like 17, 18, and he just started learning, and I could not feel happier for the guy, because I started when I was like in my mid 20s. And, you know, if he's starting at an earlier age, he's going to have an advantage over, you know, a lot of people that start later. And that is what you want. You want to get that edge. Time is the one thing you can't get back. So that's why you want to start today, because you want to build on the information. You want to build on the education. You want to learn how to use pro like a pro, because that's what we're using here to find good trades. So I'm going to go over some other questions here. Cody, that's something different. This is the Benzinga Trading School, but email me no matter what. I'm going to help you out. Let's see. All right. Do we have any other questions here? Let's see. What time of the day are the live classes? We're going to have about 3 sessions. So if you miss the morning one, well, number one, if you miss the class in general, it's going to be uploaded to the portal. So you will be able to pretty much review the class, even if you missed it. So don't worry, Kathleen, the classes will be uploaded so that you're able to get on that. And we got here a new member, Tony 51 Covino. Let's go, baby. This is what I'm talking about. The education, giving you what you want, guys. The bigger the education, the bigger the community, the better we become. At the end of the day, you're going to make lifelong relationships with the people in the classroom. You're going to trade with them. You're going to have a chat with them. And Mark, right? So ultimately, this is a bonding experience. This is a real college style education where you can take the classes as many times as you want. So I just want to make sure that, you know, we can give you what you guys are looking for. We have so many existing subscribers that actually were asking us about this sort of education, right? Because they have the money to trade, and they want to start and everything, but they don't know where to start. So they start finding information on the internet. They get, you know, misinformation, and you're acting on that. So unfortunately, the best thing to do is to go with a verified, you know, company like Benzinga, over a decade doing this. So many different things that we do here within the stock market. We work with investment firms, we work with actual corporations, we work with retail traders, we do events, we do so many things here that are pretty much around the stock market. So we have that ecosystem. That is who I want to learn from. We have an all in one solution. And just by itself, Pro is a monster. It's the only competition to Bloomberg Terminal, and Bloomberg Terminal is like $5,000 a month, and it doesn't give you what Pro gives you. Today, I woke up and I have alerts. I get email alerts on the scanners that I want, and I got earnings guidance, analyst ratings, upgrades, downgrades emailed to my phone. You see that Benzinga alerts? I don't know if you can see that there. Somewhere there, you're going to see it, Benzinga alerts. So I get everything sent to me because that's how I customize it. So education is great, right? But how do you put the education to use? Because you can have somebody who's very smart and can do a lot of great things, but if you don't give him the tools, he will not succeed. So education and tools, these are two separate things that we really need to hit on. The education is given by Mark, and that's the class, right? John, congratulations, brother. You're not going to regret it. That's real education that you're getting with a verified community of Benzinga members. And of course, you know, the right hand of Stephen Cohen. What more do you want, my friend? But ultimately, you see how I'm getting alerts on my phone. That's all customized, right? But you can do so much more in Pro. So remember, tools are one thing. You can give tools to somebody who's not educated, they won't know how to use them. You can give education to somebody, but without the tools, they can't do anything. So this is why we came up with this, guys. We're giving you the tools. Benzinga Pro is the best thing out there. Trust me, I've tried it, man. Don't waste your money. This is the best bang for your buck, and you're getting 50% off. You know, like that's
And
that's
again,
what I'm
I'll
talking
just
about.
pop in to say one more thing. Is that if you're debating, as like the operations person here at Benzinga, if you're debating whether or not to join now or like consider it sometime in the future, the laptops are not sticking around.
They're not.
Rodrigo, I know that you love those. So it's because we ran into issues before. People's current hardware couldn't run the tools they need to be a successful trader. That's why we started doing it. But guys, the laptops are expensive.
And they're awesome. You
They're
know,
not sticking around. Yeah, exactly. So
I
if you're
have
debating whether or not now is the time, that's your clue right there.
I have about 6 of those laptops here on my closet, just in case one of you guys needs a laptop. I got some behind the scene. Don't tell anybody, but basically, guys, you see where I'm going at with this, okay? Education is one thing, tools are another. You get them both. Richard, you get it. You get it, okay? You see, some people get it, some people don't. If you get it, you're one of the few ones, the lucky ones, that know what I'm talking about. And I hope you can visualize this very well. Because if you don't know what you're doing in the market, I can guarantee you the other person on the side of the trade, when you lose, knows what he's doing. And that's why he took your money. You wonder, why did I lose money? Because somebody sold you stocks all the way at the top. Right? Why did you buy at the top? Because you didn't know that that was the top or whatever it was. Whatever you think, you know why it is. That's the problem. If we don't know why we're doing these trades, first of all, how are we going to recognize the mistakes? If you don't know what you're doing wrong, how are you going to fix it? If you don't have anybody to tell you that's not how you do it, how are you going to stop doing that? And then you're going to keep on doing the same thing, and then you're going to expect a different result. And then you're going to say the markets are rigged, blah, 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 here and there. Robinhood here, Robinhood there. Citadel here, Citadel there. Education is important, guys. You know, I like to make money in the market. I trade meme stocks as well. But I can tell you one thing as well. Hedge funds have billions of dollars, and they can drive down stocks for days and weeks and months if they want to. if you want to endure that, and you believe in the stock, and you're willing to wait months and months and months to see if it ever goes back up because you believe in the company, that's great. But I don't like to like fight against hedge funds with billions of dollars. That's not my type of trade. My type of trade, it's very simple. Make money, right? I don't care who's on the other side of the trade. I trade with the house. I don't trade against the house. You want to talk about probabilities? Look at the casino. Who wins? Like 90 something percent of the time. Every now and then there will come a crazy guy who will, like, take a lot of money from the casino, but those are very rare, guys. And those are like lottery tickets. And that's not what we're doing here. We're not trying to give you lottery tickets. We're not trying to show you how to find the next meme stock. We're trying to show you how to trade like a responsible trader so that you can have a real trading career, so that you don't blow up your account, so that you don't fall for all the things that the market shows you, because that's what they're going to do. CNBC is going to show you this and tell you why this is going up. The next day, they bring somebody to say that it sucks and to sell it. You need to do your own research. That's why Pro is there, so that you can verify and get confirmation. And on top of that, you have Mark Putrino, CMT. If you don't know what a CMT is, guys, Chartered Market Technician. Okay, you need to be certified by the CMT Association. That is not easy to get to. Okay, if you're a doctor, you have to take years, decades of education. If you're a lawyer, take years, decades of education. Mark took the years and decades of education and worked side by side with Stephen Cohen. If by this point on this presentation you have not looked up who Stephen Cohen is, you need to do it right now. Because if you don't know, hey, at the end of the day, it's not just about hitting the buy and sell button, my friend. This is about knowing the industry, knowing the players, and knowing what's happening behind the scenes. If you don't even want to get into that, I mean, you're not doing what you need to be doing. You need to get into the market. You need to get into the ins of the market and the outs of the market. And if you're just doing buying and selling and scalping and here and there, there's so much behind the scenes that you could learn, that really is just so much information out there that it's not even packaged to give you the education. So that's pretty much the bareness of this, right, guys? We want to give you the tools that you need. We want to give you the education so that you can use the tools. And Mark is really just amazing there, guys. You have no idea how much I've learned from Mark. And look, I have a finance background. I went to LSU. I have a finance background of a decade. My dad went to Harvard. He money in banking. That doesn't mean I'm going to be a good trader. That doesn't mean I'm going to be a good trader. So ultimately, I had no idea about, pullbacks or anything of that stuff. And you could say, yeah, this guy knows finance, but the stock market is a different animal, my friend. And there are people that have much, much beautiful more resumes than me, Luke, or anybody out there, and they lose their entire mortgage, house, kids, you name it, on the stock market. So don't think that because you're a doctor or a lawyer, or whatever it is, that you're going to kill it and crush it in the stock market. I hate to be the guy that breaks it to you, but that's not how it works. You need the education. It doesn't matter, but ultimately, I talk to the people that sign up. I talk to like a bunch of lawyers and doctors and here and there. And these are the people that recognize it. These are the people that understand that they need education because, like I said, they're in that field. They understand that you need education to do this right. The person that doesn't need the education, I'll tell you who it is. You jumped into trading because of COVID or AMC, and you're only trading from your phone with Robinhood. And ultimately, you need to step up your game, my friend. And I'm talking to you, trader to trader. You need to step up your game. That's why we're doing the laptop, so that you have a tool so that you can actually do research. You can't do when I do research on my phone, when I wake up at 4 a.m, or where I'm outside really quick. If your main way of doing research is your phone, you need to step it up, my friend. You need to step it up because smart money has more than a phone. I'll tell you that. Smart money has a lot more resources. And the fact that you're not using that puts you at a disadvantage. And the market is already tilted against you. You know this. The market is not in your favor as a retail trader. So why are you going to make it harder on yourself?
Yep. And if you guys have questions or you need help, you need more of an explanation, check it out. Rodrigo's phone number right there on the screen, email on the screen, drop him a note. He'll be around all afternoon, be able to get back to you, be able to get back to you tomorrow if that's better. But again, if you're on the fence, you have questions, you need more details, drop him that note. That said, I'm telling you, Rodrigo, you love the laptops. I'm just looking at this from my operations lens. I don't know how much longer they're sticking. Okay, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you.
Guys, don't forget to say thank you for Luke for hooking it up with the laptops. Ultimately, I was trying to give you guys like something way, 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 way bigger, but Luke's like, all right, take it down, Rod, take it down.
Yeah, I know. You're like, all right, we need a discount at 50%.
Guys,
okay, we can try it. And you're like, and we need to throw in a laptop. I'm like, no. We'll
you know
do it
why I do
today,
this.
but I don't know how much longer we're keeping that around for.
Guys, like it's real. It's real. This is real. Education is not a myth. Education is not something that you can just say, forget about it. I'll wing it, right? You know who doesn't wing it? A neurosurgeon, like, a doctor that goes into like an ER trying to operate on your brain. How would you feel if that person wouldn't have any education and just wings it? That'd be definitely very irresponsible, right? That's exactly what you're doing, trading with 100 grand and no education. That is exactly 100% what you're doing. But guys, we had a lot of people here come up and sign in, so I'm gonna do roll call. All right, Mimi, welcome to the Benzinga family. Tantuan, welcome, my friend. Stephen Collins, thanks for joining. Kaya, okay, I can't spell that one. Vit Serena, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the Benzinga family, because we're a family here, guys. Okay. Everybody has their real family, but then you have the trading family. In Benzinga, we are a family. Okay. We love trading. We love you guys. We love Benzinga Pro, and we love helping retail traders. When you join Benzinga, you're joining our family straight up. Okay. You can call Luke at midnight. It doesn't matter. We are here for you guys.
Yep.
And that's all it comes down to.
Call me at midnight, 3 a.m. I might not answer, but
Leave in the voicemail.
midnight I'll be awake.
Yeah, midnight for sure. We'll definitely be awake around there. But we got a lot of laptops, all right, guys, and we're gonna give them out to you guys, because if not, Luke is just gonna return them, and I'm not gonna be very happy, because I want you guys to get the laptops. So trust me, get it while it's there. And somebody, a little birdie, told me that the 50% off is not going to be available for too long. I don't want to call them out, but yes, it will. If we will take the 50% off, it's going to go down to like, I don't know, 30% off. But I mean, and the laptop, I honestly don't know. I mean, Luke was joking, but personally, I don't know if we're going to keep it or for how long. So if you ask me what I would do here, like, trader to trader, I take the damn deal. All right. Take the 50% off, take the laptop, get on the education. We're starting in September. Okay. So even if you are busy doing the 9 to 5, if you're still on the grind, but you want to grind more, you want to make more money, right? That's great. And we're going to help you with that, right? We know that you're in a position right now in life that you have to work to make ends meet, but that does not mean that's how it's going to be forever. And that's why we're giving you the tools to change that. We want to empower you as a retail trader. We want to give you exactly what you need to be successful. That is why we have like 100 coders back end on Benzinga Pro working on new tools for you every single day. We're coming up with an analyst rankings table so that you can see the best analysts out there in the entire market. Who's right more than wrong? Okay. We have so many tools on the back end that I can't even discuss yet with you guys, but I do talk with the development team, not because I have to, because I want to keep giving you guys more new tools. And the best part is that if you sign up with the 50% off, you are going to keep that price. Okay. Like I said, the 50% off will be gone. I don't know when, but it will be gone eventually. And, if you will still get renewed at the 50% off. Remember, education is a lifelong process. My mom is still taking courses to re-educate and all that stuff. You have to do this. It is legally required as a doctor or an attorney that you continue taking courses to update yourself on the new laws, on the new medicines, on the new things that are out there for treatments. If you don't do this, you're irresponsible and you will lose your license. So trading, you need to treat it the same way. Education is not just learning support and resistance, my friend. I'll tell you that if that's what you think is all it takes. Like trading education is way much more than that. And that's what we're trying to give you. Obviously, we can't spill the beans here completely because we're going to have a classroom full of people that are going to be doing this. And this is an international classroom community. There are people that I've signed up from Indonesia, from Brazil, from Chile, Mexico, Canada, US, Russia, China, Ireland. I've talked to so many people from all over the world, and the experience is the same. How is it that retail traders, we're continents away and we have the same experience with trading? Do you think that's by chance? You think that's by accident? They want to keep us like this. And by us, I mean retail traders. Big money does not want you to get educated, okay? Because they want to make informed financial decisions for you. Why don't you start making informed financial your own hand? That's when you're going to see the difference. But if you keep following the herd, if you keep buying at the top and selling at the bottom, that's how you blow up your account. And that's why we're here to do. We're here to avoid that. We don't want you to, blow up your account. That's very unfortunate. Luke and I talk about that. And, we obviously we wish we would have something different, a different upcoming, but how many retail traders, start and go to the moon? Probably like 0.001. Okay. Eventually, if you don't know what you're doing, you will lose that money, give it back and more. That's exactly what happens. I've talked to hundreds, thousands of traders about my experience trading, and we share many of these things, many of these mistakes. So if we're all making the same damn mistake, why don't we just stop making it? Because there's no community. There's no community for retail traders to get this education and simply put those things aside. Because the mistakes that we make as retail traders that blow up our account, do you want to know something? Those are the stupidest mistakes that you can make, but those are the easiest mistakes that you can avoid. How are you going to avoid them if you don't know, though? That's why Mark is there. That's why the classes are there. And remember, there are different stages in trading. If you're just starting and you think, hey, I just got started trading, I'm going to go trade calls. I'm going to go buy some calls out of the money. I'm going to trade options. I just got approved. My question is, have you gotten any education? Do you know what a call and a put is and what's the difference? Do you know how expiration and strike price and theta and delta interact? If you don't know any of these things and you're jumping into trading, you're going to blow up your account, guaranteed. I'd even bet on that. So that is why we're starting from the beginning, right? Obviously, we're going to start from basic and intermediate and advanced, but Mark will be able to cover all these things with you. You're going to have an actual teacher that is willing and able and would love to help you get the education to make money. And for the cost of this, I can tell you my tuition was a lot higher, and I never learned anything about trading. And I would have loved if I would have had a class there. But I can tell you that class would not be $19.97. The class would not be what you're paying right now. The class would probably be like 5 or 10 grand. You'd meet once or twice a week, and that's about it. This is different because you're going to have Mark Putrino in a chat room where you can go over trades with him and all that. So, this is something that you guys really need to consider. Let's go over some questions here, guys. Edward Scannell upgraded to pro, looking to pay for my investment. Great stuff, man. Thank you for joining the family. We love you here, Edward. Welcome to the family. Okay. So let's see. I have a couple more questions. Adam, I want to join, but I will need a payment plan. Adam, you got to call me and we need to get in touch, my friend. Okay. I'm going to help you get this done. No worries. So I'm going to put my number here, guys, in the chat. I know a lot of you guys maybe need payment plans. Don't worry. And just as a clarification, Benzinga does not offer payment plans. Rodrigo is hooking it up and doing it for you, okay? So this is not a Benzinga thing. It's a Rodrigo thing. I'm going to work with you because I respect the cause. That is a noble cause, Adam, okay? And I'm willing to work with you because of that, because you want to learn. You want to educate yourself. And that is the most beautiful thing the mind can do. Continue wanting to grow, learning, because we can't stop learning. If you think you got it all down, I saw a couple comments here that I know everything. My God, you can't be any more wrong about that, man. That's just, It's no, especially not on YouTube, like a YouTube account. When you think you know everything, that's when you really start losing. When you think that you know everything in the stock market, that is when you are at your most vulnerable state that you're ever going to be. Because if you talk to the smartest people in the stock market, and I mean really smart, BlackRock, Kathy Woods, they know sometimes that they don't know. They admit to not knowing everything, and that's totally fine. But thinking that you know everything, that's probably the worst attitude that you can have in life, not just about trading, but in life. Um, Christina, I sent an email about the trading school on the laptop. Your name is James. Is okay. All right, I get it. Using your wife's computer since mine. All right, no problem. James or Christina, I see the email. I think I see the email. I don't see it yet, but I got like 20 emails from you guys. So don't worry. I'm going to get to all of you. Don't worry. You're going to get the deal. Even if Luke tries to take the laptops, like I said, I have some laptops in my closet.
I like how I'm the bad guy.
Uh,
For
you
just
didn't.
doing, what we normally do. That makes me the bad guy because I'm taking away Rodrigo's laptops.
That's why I keep a stash here, guys, because sometimes Luke likes to pull the plug on me. But guys, we got to get real. We got to be honest. That's how I am, at least. I'm very truthful with you about these things. I don't open up about my trading career for fun, because I really don't care what people think about it, because ultimately we all started with not knowing anything. And that's really not what, as a matter of fact, that should be encouraging that you actually had the guts to start. You had the guts to begin, right? It takes so much uh, courage to start doing something new that you'd never done before, especially something like, trading in the stock market. And I know you can get very emotional when you see all these, you go on Wall Street Bets, you go on Reddit, and you see these screenshots of like 5,000% gains. Do you even know that those are fake? Do you even know that those are doctored? They're not real. So if you're trying to get into the stock market because you saw some, fake account bot put up a 5,000% gain on calls on whatever stock, that's you are getting into the stock market for all the wrong reasons. And that is why you need the education, because if you already got in with that mindset that I'm gonna make 5,000% on every trade, and I'm gonna buy calls, 50 strike prices out of the money that expire next week, you're asking for it, my friend. You're asking for it, and you don't even know that you're asking for it. That is how you blow up your account. That is the perfect recipe to blow up your account. Find your trades on Wall Street Bets and go all in with calls way out of the money that expire next week. That's the typical Wall Street Bets play. You don't want to do that. That's how you blow up your account. So, Richard, start by clicking on the question. Okay. Don't know what that means, Richard, but you can call me if you got some questions, no doubt. Kathleen, thank you for the payment plan option. You got it. No problem. Getting ready to ask the same question. Can you email someone about it? Of course. Rodrigo. Shannon, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for getting the education. You have no idea how much this means to me. I'm going to cry. I'm getting very emotional. But honestly, guys, this is really what I love to see, because you guys taking your education seriously just inspires me. It gives me strength, gives me like really the energy to do this, because I see that you guys are coming from a similar place. And me opening up about this is not really for pity or anything. It's so that we don't make the same damn mistakes. It's so that you don't blow up your account the same way that I did, right? If retail traders, like I've talked to thousands, and I've literally have written down like, how'd you blow up your account? How you blow up your account? How you blow up your account? The reasons are always the same, guys. We don't have any education. We do these mistakes, and these are the easiest mistakes to avoid. But when you're starting, it's important, right? So, and I'm going to stay here with you guys, answering some questions, because I see that a lot of you guys still have questions, and don't worry, I'm going to stay here for a couple more minutes here to make sure that you guys get all your questions answered. Let's see. Mark, you are welcome. No worries, man. No worries. That's what we're here for. Only way to get better is by learning what better tool to use. Absolutely, man. Richard, you and me, we're on the same page, brother. Okay. We're on the same page. Code. Yes, this is 1 year. This is for 1 year, and you will be grandfathered in, meaning that once we take off the discount, you will be, you know, once the discount is gone, you will still be renewed at the same price. So, um, you tell me, guys, are there any other questions here for me? Hey, Richard. What's up, man? It's great. I love it too. Let's see. Will this be available for the replay? I mean, you can still get the laptop and you can still, you know, you can still get all the perks and benefits, man, if you join. I don't know if we're going to have laptops left by tomorrow, but I mean, we have it available now, so I wouldn't even risk it. I mean, like you heard Luke, he might take away the laptop, so but don't, I got a couple in my closet, so don't worry. But yeah, we don't know. I don't know till when we're gonna keep the 50% off, Demid. I don't know until when we're gonna have the laptops. That's not my call. But if it's available, like I said, my suggestion as a trader to another trader, the most bang for your buck if you're starting trading is what you have in front of you, trading education, because it doesn't exist. I'm telling you, because I've already been out there trying to find it. I've already been out, you know, spending money on these things, and guess what? It's not what you need, really. And that's why we're doing this differently. That's why we have Mark Putrino, CMT, to give you all this stuff, right? This is not something that you're going to find out there. Something that we've been working on for months and months and months, with a lot of careful precision, strategic, right? How we're going to make this product work for you guys, because we know there are, you know, not only copycats, but people that just, you know, put a education label on it and tell you that. But this is different. And I know because I've tried different programs in the past, but this is something where you really will get graded on quizzes, on education. So it really is what you need for learning. And if you feel you need to brush up again on the topic, you could take the class again. There's no problem with that. You don't get charged again. Your tuition is for the full year. So it's 1 year of tuition, what you're paying for, with Benzinga Pro and with Mark and with the laptop, guys. So the laptop, I use it just for trading. So let's see. MS, you need to know more about options. I think everybody needs to learn a little bit more about options, but that's covered on the trading school. So join, and you look, options is not what you need to start with. If you're just starting and you want to get into options, take it easy, my friend. Take it easy. You got to learn the basics before you jump there, because options are 10 times more complicated than normal stocks, and they are related. So you jumping ahead of the curve and missing out on all that basic information for general stock trading, that's critical. Okay, options pretty much move on many factors, but it all comes down to the stock. So you need to look at the stock and understand how to analyze it, the chart and everything else, before you even jump to options, my friend. Definitely. Richard Judge. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the family. Like I said, we are a big family here. So the bigger, the better, right? The more, the merrier. All right. I have never blown up an account. Richard, you're very lucky, man. Yes, I know. You don't need to blow up your account to lose a lot of money. You can still have a couple dollars there left, but options go to zero. Shares do not usually. Yeah, me, of course. Nicola should have definitely gone there. I don't know how that thing is still even traded. That's a stock that I think should go to zero. You're in? Dambe. Welcome to the family, my brother. So, do we have any more questions about the Benzinga Trading School? Do we have any more questions about the trading school? Guys, let me know in the chat. I don't want to keep you longer than I have to. Exactly, Nick. So I'm going to put the link here. If you just joined, we were doing a presentation with Mark Putrino, CMT. Mark Putrino is a chartered market technician. He traded right next to Stephen Cohen. If you still don't know who that man is by this point, you need to go and do a damn Google research, okay? Just go look Stephen Cohen and see who he is, and then realize who is going to be giving you the education here, okay? How do you set up phone alerts? Phone alerts for what? For a pro? Is day trading options a smart thing? It's a very risky thing. I don't know how you want to define smart in this case, Andres. But what I can tell you is that you will go over all this stuff in the trading school with Mark. Okay. Remember, Mark has already been through this. He's got decades and decades and decades of experience. If you are just starting with this, you need to have somebody that will guide you with this, to be honest. So, and I could tell you, because if you don't, you're not going to know what your mistakes are. And if nobody's correcting you, that's why you have a teacher in school, man. That's why you don't teach yourself all these things unless you're Albert Einstein, right? Unless you're some of those like big, you know, nerds. Like, you really need somebody that will break it down for you and help you with this stuff. Um, Cody, none of them, none of them. They're different. Those are different. Cody, email me. Okay, this is for the trading education. This one has the essential. Okay, pro essential. So you're gonna get a very, very good pro. AE, you mean the alerts? Um, you can customize that on the news feed. But does anybody have any more questions about the trading education, about the school, about the classes that begin in September? Anybody have more questions about that? About the courses, when they begin, when they end? You'll have access for a full year to the classes. So if you want to brush up on technicals, boom, go ahead. New class, same teacher. You know, so ultimately that is what I love. Obviously, I'm too busy here to be taking that, but you better believe that I'll be going over the courses and all that stuff. Um, so give me a heads up, guys. If you need any more information on this, or if you're all set, um, on this, right, on the school, on Benzinga Trading School, if you need a payment plan, right, if you need to talk to me, let me know. What do you need? Ultimately, we're coming from the same place, man. Like, I used to be a retail trader. I was trading before I joined Benzinga, and joining Benzinga was probably one of the best things that could have happened for my trading, because you know, having Benzinga Pro, having these great educators here, it just changes the game, man. It totally changes the game, because you think you know everything, but you really don't. And until you open, like, you need somebody to open your eyes, is what I'm saying. And I don't know if that's going to be me. I don't know if that's going to be the market when it takes all your money away. I don't know what's your waking up call, man. I don't know what your wake up call is going to be. If you're down 40 grand, maybe you want to risk another 40 grand, and maybe you got to lose all your money until you get it. Everybody has a different point where they realize that they need your education. Hopefully you get it sooner rather than later, because you want to avoid these things from happening, like blowing up your account. But you see, like, nobody can force you to do anything. You're free to make the mistakes that you want to make. Ultimately, these mistakes will end up costing you your entire account. And if you do not have the resources to trade, um, you know, it's you're wiped out of the market. Put simply, you're wiped out of the market. Why? Because somebody was smarter than you. Somebody took a better side of the trade than you. Now, there could be many reasons why that happens, but I can tell you that if you do educate yourself, very likely you will not be on the wrong side of the trade. If you're on the wrong side of the trade, then you need to figure out, okay, how do I place my trade? How do I scale? There's so many things in between the lines, guys. There's so many things in between the lines that you're not going to get anywhere packaged into one, you know, all-in-one solution with Pro. So, you know, I want you guys to be successful. I want you guys to make money. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm hooking you up with the deal. But at the end of the day, I can't do it for you. I can't learn for you. I wish I could. I wish I could just give you a pill and then you know everything that, you know, but that's not how life works. You know that. You have to put in the time. You have to make the effort, right? Just like you do the effort for everything else. I don't know why you think trading is going to be different. And I think I know why, because you're seeing all these meme stocks and you're seeing all these you know, these screenshots on Wall Street bets of 3,000-4,000% gains, and you're like, well, that's what I'm here for. 4,000% gains every day. Because if that's what you're looking, I'll tell you one thing: with the risk, high reward comes a very high risk. So ultimately, I want you guys to be able to learn. If you don't learn, you're going to keep making the same mistakes. And you keep making the same mistakes and you don't even know what your mistake was. How are you going to fix it? Right? So you keep making the same mistakes and you keep expecting a different result. It's called insanity, and that's not what we're here for. We're here for education. We're here to educate you guys. We're here to bring you the real people that you want to learn from. Honestly, Mark Putrino is the guy that I would want to have on my corner. Somebody that's working with Stephen Cohen, managing that amount of money, that insane amount of money. Ultimately, that's the person you want on your corner. So, do you guys have any other questions? Is there anything else here that you guys want to go over as far as the trading school? Let me know. I got a couple more minutes here. So I'm going to drop the link a couple more times before I head out because I got like 10,000 emails here to get to. All right. So email me or call me and we will go over whatever you need to go over. And thank you guys for coming up. Thank you guys for taking a real interest in your education. Just thank you. And you know who's going to thank you too? Your wallet. So you got to thank yourself too. Pat yourself in the back for getting the education. Pat yourself in the back for taking the right steps to become a successful trader. Pat yourself in the back for being smart and not thinking that you're going to wing and put all your money at risk. Pat yourself in the back, guys, seriously, because you're making the best financial decision for your trading. This is where you start making informed financial decisions with education. Without education, my friend, you're gambling and you're better off in the casino or some of these places because that's not what we're doing here. We're not looking for lottery tickets. We really want education because we're looking for consistency. Chelly, if you're talking about Neil, he's not here. Or I don't know if you're talking about Luke or Neil. I don't know. You got to tell me who's cute and who's not cute. Which pro plan is included in this? The Essential, Dives, Corvello, Essential, Benzinga Pro Essential. Richard Callaway, my friend here, already knows what I'm talking about. Okay. Shannon, for sure. Foshizi. Soledad, you just joined. So I missed a lot. When will be your next class? So if you just joined, guys, first of all, welcome. Okay. And we were going over Benzinga Trading School. The classes begin in September. We have limited seating. Okay. We have limited seats for this because we want the education to be good. We want the education to be nice. We're not trying to pack 10,000 students with Mark at one time. Do you know why? Because we want to keep the quality of the education high. So we're having limited seats for the classes so that you guys can get the best experience with Mark, so that everybody has a chance to interact with the teacher, with the instructor, all right, with the boss man, Mark Putrino. Okay, does anybody have any more questions here? We're about ready to wrap up. We got a couple more laptops. We got about 7 more laptops, and I got 5 in my closet. So, Dombe, how are the classes structured? So obviously every class is different. It's going to be about 1 to 2 months per course. You can take it as many times as you want. If you want to brush up on that, you can do that as well. You know, like if you, let's say you want to take something on technicals, right? And you want to brush up on it, which is a great idea, right? We all should do that every now and then. You could take the course as many times as you want. There's no limit. In college, you will get limits. If you take classes 3 times, that's it. You're out. You can't take it again. So with this, you can take it more than 3 times. You can take it an unlimited amount of times. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing technical classes and these other things that we're offering there at least once or twice a year because I do need to brushing up. I do need to get like a little, you know, it's not that we forget about it, but we need to get back in the zone, if that makes sense. So, okay. All right, Miss Chelly. So guys, it's been great. It's been awesome. I love it coming here and talking to you guys every single day. So this is what we're going to do. Okay. Number 1, everybody that joined here, thank you for joining. You are part of the family. I'm so happy that you joined us today, guys. This is very, very it's awesome to me to see that you guys care about it because, you know, it's really what I didn't have. And honestly, would have saved me a lot of money, mistakes, and time. So you guys are getting this. And I'm happy that you guys are getting it while it's 50% off. If in 1 week it's not 50% off and you're looking at this video and you call me and tell me, Rodrigo, you were doing 50% off, I mean, I don't want to be the bad guy, but I'm telling you now, like, get it now, because in 14 days, I don't know if it's going to be there. Okay. So don't hold me to the line. If 2 weeks from now you're watching this, guys. Okay. So again, thank you guys for being here with us. Thank you for joining. Thanks to Luke here for being able to be here with Mark and help us give you guys the education and all that. Ultimately, we're here for you. We are for the retail trader. We're part of your family here at Benzinga. So thanks for joining. And the email and the link, I'm going to drop them in the chat one more time. Okay, so you guys can take advantage of this before it goes away. I don't know when Luke is taking away the laptops, to be honest, though, but just get it while you can, okay? So I'm dropping the links there, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys taking the education. I'm so happy. I'm going to see you on the other side on the trading school with Mark Putrino when classes begin in September. So thanks for joining, guys, and have a great, awesome week, and get ready for trading tomorrow, okay? Have a great one, guys.